think Money was running Tank Tuesday against Hammered and Wildcards on occasion.
Tank Tuesday against Hammered, and then you took over in 2019, you said?
More like the end of 2019.
I think I was doing it from the very end of 19 into 20, and then you took over in like summer 20.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
North hemisphere or something.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a Tanker Tuesday with you all until, I don't know, late last year, Outrider, when I was in the Colossus, and I joined you also.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there was that. You also in the platoon, because I remember seeing your tank with the Heat R.
Oh, that's right.
Pointing that out to everybody. The R Heat, yeah.
Yes,
I was like, look at this.
That thing.
Yeah, because you don't hardly see that these days. I think you're the only one that actually runs it anymore.
There's one other person who runs it, but not on Connery. I don't remember who it is. Like
Is that Ghost of the Revolution on Vandy Raptor on Emerald?
I think you're talking about the Vanguard one, right?
Yeah, the Vanguard one that you got for rewards.
Yeah, the
you're talking about a camo. I thought you were talking about like tank.
No, it's a tank skin.
The turret.
Yeah, looks awesome.
Turrets.
On slide 3, Money on slide 3. That's my tank.
Slides. Oh yeah, that was like a recruitment thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep, back in the recruitment days when you got rewards and all that.
$10.
Did you actually recruit a lot of people, or did you just make a bunch of accounts and pay $10 on all of them?
Yeah, I ended up recruiting. It was pretty easy back then to recruit. Much easier than it is now.
I thought that the people that you recruited had to also pay $10.
Yeah, they had to pay a little bit of money. I don't remember.
Yeah, because do you remember Bytes?
Oh, Bytes.
Yeah, Bytes.
Bytes.
Oh, is Bytes.
Oh, dude, I miss Bytes.
Yeah, no,
dude,
I remember Bytes.
Dude, he was sick. Dude, Bytes was so legit. He offered to just pay for my whole hotel room at SOE Live or whatever, and he's like a gun collector in New Zealand, and he's a cool guy, but like I'm fairly sure that he got all of those recruitment things by just making tons of accounts and then paying $10 on all of them with his own money, so that he.
Well, you're allowed to do that as well.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny. He was a baller. He was a planet baller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but
good times. That brings back memories. But yeah, that purple tank is my beauty.
So are we live right now?
Baby.
Yeah, we're live. So we're
all right.
Pink one.
I remember thinking Bytes was just like he was the max.
Yeah,
he's so big.
Yeah.
And a deep booming voice.
Gunner, your Giga Chad is not showing up on the. I'm gonna move you out and move you back in real quick.
So what's going on, everybody? We are StratSide 22, and today talking with DrMoneyPants and friends from WTAC, Western Tactical. They are NC Connery. Been around for a long time, since beta, or just after.
Nah,
beta,
not quite. Yeah, 2012, but not beta.
And for a long time, at this point, over 10 years. So brought him on the show to talk about it. We'll go into why and how this all came to be, but ultimately, that's what it is. Agenda, we'll go over the normal disclaimer, the scope of the talk. We'll go through some introductions about who we have here, go into the discussion, wrap it up, and then finish with the previous and upcoming. Disclaimer, as always, I speak for myself. I don't speak for anyone else, like the Devil Dogs that I'm a part of. But you all might be different stories. So, Money Pants, you speak for yourself and the WTAC, Western Tactical?
I speak for the Prophet Muhammad and Allah as his messenger.
Got it.
Yeah, no, I am. I speak for only myself. All members of Western Tactical can join it, and they are strongly encouraged to keep their own opinions. So I definitely don't speak for them.
Okay.
We just hang out. The isn't really an organization. It's just a bunch of homies who play games.
And I assume Outrider, Gunner, Jughead, the same thing with you all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gunner speaks for the Irish.
I just show up and I speak for the Irish and the trees of Ireland.
Be advised, everyone watching, that there may or may not be some controversial content, like Money who just what you just did. Or
Well, Gunner's
potential
Irish,
drama,
and he hates the
base
Anglos.
surface.
So
Yeah,
So-
like controversial stuff like, are the
We-
Irish white? Me being Irish, I can say, no, they are not.
Oh
But
god.
that's still up for debate.
So,
They're
anyways, I
superior
just
to
want
white
to say,
people.
be advised if you're watching, because we might wade into some controversial or otherwise uncomfortable tension type territory just by the nature of the discussion. This isn't like a choreographed thing, and yeah. So we have Dr. Moneypants, we have Outrider, who you and I know each other, Gunnarsson. It's almost like from that the
Yes.
Mars movie. Shoot, I can't remember
Mars
now.
movie.
Yeah, the one
The
with
Martian?
John. It'll come to me. Anyways,
John Wick.
no.
Oh, you know,
That one.
that movie where like he was like super strong on Mars
yeah,
or
yeah, like
something?
Tharks don't fly.
Was that a name in the movie? I didn't.
No, it's like a
Didn't know
quote
that.
that just stuck with me. It's John Carter. That's what it was.
Yeah, John Carter.
Anyways,
Where does the Gunnar Gunderson come from?
it's like one
in
of
that
their
movie?
names is very similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Mnemonic
Yeah,
Giraffe.
I picked this name like long before.
Yeah,
the
Mnemonic
movie.
Giraffe. He'll be here a little later.
Okay, and then Jughead. So
Oh,
they have
Jughead.
different things that Money told me about. Whereas Outrider, if you didn't know, number 2 on the kill board for AP on Connery.
Yeah, somebody knocked you off, dude. That
That's
Ares
true.
guy. Did you know that?
Aries.
Slacking.
Let's
Somebody
go to
got
his
you,
house in real
Outrider.
life.
You gotta get back on it. Then we have Gunner, who is the morale officer. Mnemonic, who's
He's
the
also
air
my
lead.
gunner. He's
Hmm?
also gunner. He's my gunner, and his rank is gunner. He's gunner,
Oh, okay.
Gunnerson. Yeah, that's his full title.
And then Jughead, who is the outfit architect. So we'll get into that.
As
All right.
in
So what is the scope of
base
this talk?
builder.
There's 2 things.
This-
One is meet and greet. Despite the fact that I've been on Connery all this time and NC, our association is very limited over the years. I've been mainly staying in my lane and Devil Dogs, Service Smash, and then you all have been, well, you've been doing your thing. But we haven't really crossed paths too
mostly-
much over the years.
Yeah, I mostly stay isolated to my cave complex in Tora Bora.
Right. Right. So part of this is a meet and greet, and the other part is a clear the air, which I think the air is probably cleared. But in terms of things that you reacted to when I had my StratSide with Amy, and really just talking about that as a discussion to air it out, if need be. But it sounds like we might not need to.
Don't want to use the term air it out because in hip hop that refers to perforating an opponent rapper with a firearm, and so the air will flow through them.
Get
So
the chop around.
yeah, we're not-
I didn't know that. Thank you for.
I know a lot of
The
hip
more
hop
you
stuff.
know.
Know that.
WTT 11.
yeah,
did not
don't want to be airing it out. Yeah, we're not airing anybody out. In
We'll
that,
delete
in
that
way.
from my vocabulary.
All right, so let's go ahead and do some introductions. I'm Lanzer.
Yeah,
The NC Devil Dogs, pretty much
What's up?
most of my career, but Server Smash and the like, and I'm a main battle tank player. So let's go with you, Money, first.
hi. I'm Dr. Moneypants. I'm a big dorky guy who logs onto video games and acquires cult followings of 16 to 25-year-old young men, and I radicalize them with my Joe Rogan style personality traits and make them do
Andrew
steroids.
Tate on there.
And I when I play video games, I like to lead the video games. I like to play real-time strategy games, but with real people as my chess pieces that I form relationships with and become friends with. And I also like tanks. Yes, I play quite a bit of Vanguard, although not as much lately.
Yeah, you have 250 days of playtime. 92 of those is in a tank, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's a bit. I also have, I think, 1/10 of that amount of time in AP Lightning, although I'm possibly better at AP Lightning because it's just faster. I like to go fast. I
Yeah,
don't have
me too.
anywhere close to the stats of Outrider, but I like to be manic in the action. And when it comes to melee, third-person backflip shooting style play style, I haven't seen anybody do it like the Money Pants. So Outrider's the hunter, though. He's got the he's got that. He's like the
Like killer instinct.
Stalks them. Yeah, he stalks them.
Yeah, I haven't really played Lightning at all until the JGX. I barely even skyguarded.
AP Lightning is best played on the Esamir River and North Indar, where you can drive in third person shooting backwards while doing big S-bends at full speed with racer chassis, and then you're like basically a harasser with more health, and it's really awesome.
It's very specific.
Yeah, well, that's what it's good.
So Outrider, how about you? What's your story?
I'm 6'2", single. And... no. Well, I've been playing since 2019. PlanetSide.
Really?
Oh no, sorry, not 2019. 2012. 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That's
What
when I
the
finished
heck,
school.
man? That's a big difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I got confused
That's
from the last
okay.
conversation.
About to say, you don't make number 2 on the scoreboard by playing for what, 3 years? Yeah, all
You
right.
took like 4 years off, or how long?
Yeah, no, my computer was like, was it 2016 or so? My computer was like turned to crap, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna go join the army as an officer, or if I was, well, what was going on, so I didn't buy another computer.
You were.
So what'd you end up doing?
I talked to you on Instagram, and you said you were putting your money into your project car, and I convinced you to get back into PlanetSide.
Yeah, well,
Force the game.
The
I've
money
still
pit.
got heaps of money saved up for the project car anyway. That's in the shop. But yeah, and I did take a big break, about 3 years off. By the time I came back, I was still up on the leaderboard. But that's pretty much all I do is just drive around in a tank. So I'm not really that interested in anything else. I
But
mean,
now
I'll
you
lead.
also lead other tanks too.
I'll lead other tanks, and I'll lead infantry as well.
So
Pretty much
Outrider,
all
you
my
never-
infantry
You didn't go into
tactics.
the military?
And in the end, I didn't make the cut.
Okay.
My as it turns out, my planning was atrocious. But yeah, no, it was pretty introspective. I learned a lot, and I feel like I can apply that elsewhere. What I've learned.
Right on.
Yeah, but pretty much all my infantry tactics I've just copied off money. I don't understand what I'm doing as infantry. I just say what money would say in this scenario.
I appreciate
Alright.
that. I didn't know that. Thank you.
So Gunner, what's going on?
Hey, I'm Gunner. I'm the resident infantry tryhard of Western Tactical
Oh, okay.
and Bitcoin maximalist,
Based.
Bitcoin supremacist. So just go out there and buy Bitcoin, everyone listening to this podcast.
Should I rack up credit card debt to buy Bitcoin?
Yes, that is correct. Well, it'll
my
eventually
God.
it'll outpace, your debt. So, like it's a
hopefully.
100%
Is this
shot.
financial advice? Is
This
Lanzer
is
liable?
financial advice. I'm just kidding. Your
We're not
mileage may
financial
vary.
advisors.
Anyways, yeah, I get sweaty and try hard on PlanetSide 2 infantry and spend a lot of time on our infantry board in this Discord here, and always trying to optimize and make my boys better at infantry.
Get 12 KD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Money ID'd you as a morale officer. What does that mean?
Yeah, he's our morale officer.
I yell really loud into the mic until it's clipping and play
You like
music.
an orc wog? What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I started that trend pretty much
Yeah.
back in like
It says
2014
go,
or something
go,
like
go.
that. I would
Yeah,
talk.
yeah.
If
you-
we
you
have,
had your tank,
if we've
the
got
orc tank,
like
you put
other
talk like an
timers or
Orc
base timers,
boss. I'm gonna be like, "Whoa, boys, we gotta crump some humies."
the traditional thing that he yells when we need to get people motivated is
tired of
go, go, go as loud
it's
as
his
he can.
typical go, 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 really loud.
Go, go,
Have you
go,
met
go, go.
Thraka?
Like this rapid fire goes to hype
Have you
Yeah,
met
people
Thraka?
up.
it really, it
Yeah.
actually, it works pretty well. Are you a Thraka?
Of course
He's
it
asking?
does.
No. Have you met Warboss Straka from the Lead Belchers?
I think I've seen him, but I haven't talked to him. I'd probably just been like, "Hell yeah, brother!"
Yeah,
Another orc.
He pretty much
Get some
only
orc
talks in
walk.
orc.
Yeah, it's based. I used to do that.
That
He and I
sounds
know
just
each other
like a
from
crazy person.
Eternal Crusade.
Oh,
Gunnar, you
awesome.
played,
I wish
like,
Eternal
competitive-
Eternal Crusade was like super successful. 'Cause I had high hopes.
Was
for
very
it.
successful for like a few months.
Yeah, I wish they did more with it though.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause
It was supposed to be a
cool
PlanetSide
concept.
version of Warhammer, but that didn't.
Yeah, that
work
would have
out.
been sick. That would have been
Yeah, that would have been
super sick.
awesome. That's what we all thought too. But anyways,
Gunnar, you
Then
played competitive.
I moved
Team
on to the
Fortress
better
before
game, Dark
PlanetSide, right?
Tide.
oh, Dark Tide? Nah, I played like 5 minutes. I don't know. I can't get into it.
It's kind of a train wreck, but
It is.
I
Yeah.
played several hundred hours of it so far,
What?
and I'm hoping it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up for the open beta, and I've been
Yeah.
It's fun. It's got a fun gameplay, but it's like there's a lot of problems with that game.
Yeah, I went back to Vermintide 2 and Aliens Fire Teams.
I've heard Aliens Fire Teams is pretty good. I should
It's
check
good,
that out.
man. It's constantly updated. It's
Vermintide's
fresh.
fun.
It's awesome. Big time recommend.
Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah. Jughead, what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm just chilling.
Chilling like a
Hanging
villain?
out. Yeah. Glad to be here.
What's your story? Where you come from?
I started playing PlanetSide like for real in like 2017 or 18. Joined WTech I think in like 19.
Yeah,
Running there,
19.
but,
Were you playing
and-
before for fake? What do you mean?
no, I was just playing. I was like in the 51st with like Spear. But I really liked WTech and the size and
gotcha.
like the energy and the momentum you could get with the platoon. And as I like mastered different parts of the game, like different vehicle, like harasser and lib, I really wanted to get into like tactics and like the leading side, because I feel like PlanetSide as a whole, those skills kind of like mesh with real life, whether you're working like in a kitchen or landscaping or just doing something on a team, like with other people. And I've had a really good time doing it. You just have to like communicate properly and get people in the right location at the right time. And like a lot of people hate redeploy side, but I really like the map tactics of like pushing, like the different pushes and like overloading the enemy. You're like moving faster than them, you know, like
out rotating around the map.
Yeah, like out rotating.
Kind
I'm
of
really into that. I honestly think like I might not be the best squad leader as far as like some communication, but the tactics side of it, I'm like really good at this point.
Strategy side, Jug is probably one of the best, if not the best, what they call map chess players. And I'll call on him
like
when,
for the
I'm
other,
running.
Yeah,
when I'm running a platoon.
We call them ops leads.
Right. Well, sometimes what we do is that I'm leading the platoon, but I'll just tap Jug and I'll be like, Jug, take a look at the map, like, to help me figure out a solution, to this alert and stuff like that. And so, and then he'll, give me some stuff. And then when he's leading on his own, he does really well too.
Well, Jugs, I appreciate you being really upfront about this. Why did they call you the outfit architect?
I think he was referring to building, like the base building.
I
don't know why.
I may have been referring to tactical tactics. You may have picked that up off of somebody else.
Jug, you gave it to me, money. You gave me the description.
Okay, well, he is a good architect. He's good at building.
Well, a lot of my base. Well, I like build a lot of triangle bases, but the entire concept of that comes from tactical tactics and wherever he picked it up from, whether it was himself or like from another builder. And but like I can build them pretty well and like set them up ahead of time, like because I can read the map and I can tell where the fight's gonna be. I can like set up a decent base.
You've got
ahead
the flow.
of time.
Okay, right on, man. Yeah, I'm a base builder myself as well when I'm not tanking, and I love that. I love watching the flow and trying to figure out where should I put my fob, that sort of thing.
Tactics.
You excited for the new construction update?
I'm tentatively excited. I mean, I'm in the middle because like the triangle bases and the structure shield module making your base invulnerable was like the only way to make a good tight base, and if they ruin that and don't make a good replacement, then like a hammered platoon will just come through and shit on your base and delete it in 2 seconds anyway. So unless they like fix that, then it's up in the air.
Yeah, right on. That I did some React videos the other day over construction, and that I notated something similar. Don't mind me if I start drinking. I'm gonna get a little bit more and more sloshed.
Like we've had bases where it's just manned by like 10 engineers with archers, and it's a triangle-shaped base, and someone cycles the structure shield module, and like you can keep your base immune to like a huge prowler platoon and like stay alive.
Yeah, when Osher first came out and was actually usable and people were using it, we had some really good stands where we would hold back like 75% plus population with one of these things.
They just allowed certain things to like connect to each other, like certain structures, like the way you place stuff. That's what they need to improve. That would like exponentially improve.
Yeah, if there was some like, snapping for the walls, it would be.
Unless you have like, I'll use autistic as a description. Unless you have like this hyper focus like power, and you like can sit there and rotate everything perfectly, and you know the setup of like a triangle base or something, then you're gonna have like a hell of a time.
Jughead actually learned a new non-offensive word to describe things, that's systematizing. So you can
Yeah,
use that
dude.
instead of autistic. Systematizing.
Got it.
So, there you
Got
go.
it.
Learned a new word.
All right. So all y'all are part of WTAC, Western Tactical. And like I have on the slide here, been around since December 2012.
Mhm.
Currently have about 940-ish members. This was taken
Oh,
about...
it's more than it's like 1,100 now, I think. Let me check.
Well, hold on. I've got the link right here. What does it say? Oh, you have 1,029. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So that you went up almost 100 from last month when I did this.
Yeah, and honestly, we've been recruiting really slowly since Outfit Wars. Like, I haven't been putting any effort in. So there was a period of time where we were
goes
gaining
to
like
show,
several hundred.
whenever I log on, there's almost always a WTAC squad up somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like right now, our 24-hour activity is only 89. A couple months ago, it was like 160, 170.
Yeah.
But it goes in waves. It's not concerning to me at all. Once we start running consistent stuff, we can again, it goes right back up.
I noticed that at this when in December, Outfit Tracker had you pegged as 44% activity. Now it's 31, but still, that's a really high percentage of activity compared to some of the other outfits. How do you all do that? What are you doing there?
I don't know. I literally don't do anything. Like it sounds like an exaggeration, but when did Outfit Wars end? Like September?
Somewhere like that.
Yeah, I haven't done anything since then. And most of our guys in this here haven't been that. I mean, Outrider runs Tank Tuesdays. Jughead's been playing, but
I want to say,
honestly, it's just
taking it sleazy.
Yeah, we've been taking it easy, but it's just a self-perpetuating thing at this point. Like, I've put in the initial effort, and now it just sustains itself because there's enough people in it that are interested in running platoons that they just will do it. And also, we're usually number 1 or number 2 in the SEO, which is like in the outfit browser. It's dictated by the number of people online. So especially on Friday nights when we do run
I would
stuff,
like to say
we're always
something.
number 1.
Kind of something I wanted to say in the intro is part of the reason I ended up joining WTAC when I was there in that platoon, like in 2019, is that kind of like with workplaces or whatever, when you're working with people, is that I will like do any job if the people with you are awesome. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like people are what matter. And the the conversations you can have and the type of personalities and their ability to like focus when we need to focus and bant when we don't need to.
That's pretty unique, the way that we
our ability to turn that off and change gears, and just like the kind of people and the kind of conversations you can have over the years. It's like the reason I like the reoccurring like ops and stuff.
I've been in other outfits platoons, and very few. Most can't really do that. Like, much love to our homies at Axis.
Like, I don't normally join clans a lot, or like get into.
Yeah,
like,
I have trouble just sort of changing the gears like I do with Western Tech, where I'll go, we'll just be, talking crap for like an hour or two, and then, there's a base and it's not really capping, and we're like, hey guys, everybody shape up for like 20 seconds. We're gonna, or maybe 5 minutes or something. We got to smash this thing, and then we all do it, and then we go back and then there's also different personalities and different leadership styles that go throughout the week. Like, Outrider's got his own thing, Jughead leads his own way, I lead my own way, Propane leads his own way.
And I like to add that before this, I had the social skills, and I like got along fine in life and everything. But as far as leadership goes, I lacked in certain areas, maybe. And after playing with Money, a lot of like Money's persistence or like way he leads or has rubbed off, I think, in a positive manner.
Yeah,
so
I've seen a lot of that happen in Double Dodge too.
And it just goes to show, like, anyone, if you like know you're like capable of something and you're just like on the edge of the fence of like leading, it's really not hard. Like, everyone's a lemming and they don't want to lead, and they want like a platoon marker. And if you can get into that and just tell them to get in the box, like, go here, you can be the leader.
All right.
Yeah.
So what I noticed is that in all that time, though, Money, you've only pulled one bastion. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I don't do a lot of bastions. Honestly, I usually let other people do them. I'll usually say, if we're gonna do a bastion, who wants to pull the bastion? and or is that the whole outfit?
No, I mean the whole outfit shows
Oh,
only
yeah.
one bastion. Is that true?
Honestly,
or is
we
that
don't do a
false?
lot of It's probably true. I don't know. We don't really
We've done
do
more
that
than
many
one
bastions.
total. For
No,
sure.
that's in the since he pulled this like a month ago.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
like I
did
said,
was
I
look
have
at outfit tracker, and it just shows me how many bastions you pulled.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
pulled that
Oh wait,
shit.
now you're 0.
we don't-
Oh wait, maybe that's
we
like
don't pull a lot of
30-day
bastions.
period.
No,
I don't
we
know.
we don't pull a lot of bastions. I mean, we'll do
Yeah.
it sometimes, but honestly, I don't find them that fun. I like attacking bastions more.
I know,
I like
man.
attacking colossuses.
You remember 3 months
just-
ago when I pulled one and you killed me in like 30 seconds?
Maybe, but
Dude.
but the way bastions are fun in certain situations, like we'll park them outside the warp gate and we'll tell Go Hard Gaming to like attack us full force and we'll fight them off. And I used them primarily to train people in reavers, just to have free reavers and a bunch of dogfighting. But usually I don't want to spend a whole hour doing a bastion. It's just kind of I'd rather do something else.
At least they have utility now with spawns though, so you can like you
mhm.
can poop people out.
Yeah,
haven't
but
really
also
experimented with that though.
we
I
have a
pulled
little
bastion
bit.
about like September-ish, and you
Mhm.
came at me with a whole fleet of mosquitoes and just downed me on
Reavers, but
Indar.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds about right. We'll kill him when we see
We
him.
were really
if
pissed
they're-
at you for
especially
that,
if they're
man. 'cause
being
You're supposed to be
annoying.
in C, bro. What are you doing playing in TR?
Oh, really? I don't remember.
Oh, was it
When
TR?
was this? Sorry.
Yeah, you were on TR. I was on NC. I pulled it.
Was I leading
and then
Axig?
just this fleet of mosquitoes came out of nowhere, and we were right outside our warp gate too. It's not like we were anywhere.
Was I leading Axig? What month was this?
I don't know what you were doing, man.
Because
That's why we were
I don't know if you
confused
know
what you were
this.
doing.
Right. I don't know if you know this from your research, but briefly, I was the leader of Axig and Western
he won the
Tactical at the same
presidency.
time. Yeah.
The
No,
vote.
I
I,
was-
didn't see that.
we
yeah,
voted him in.
I was leader of Axig for I was president-elect for like a month, and then I was actual acting leader for 3 days before I got bored and gave it back to them. But during that time, I basically redid their entire scheduling and the way they run their Discord, and I helped them a lot. So I
When
kind of
was
just
this?
got there. It's probably like April, I think, last year, something like that.
I'm willing. I
Oh,
wonder
and
if
we
that's when
also
did it.
we forced them to delete their porn channel too. That was a thing. Oh, so that was during Outfit
Good.
Wars. Yeah, so that was
Okay.
later. But
So you also do WTAC Weekly Gamer Bible Study. Your phrase is non temibo mala,
yeah,
Latin?
it's Latin.
which
Mhm.
means fear no evil from Psalm 23.
Mm-hmm.
Then your tagline is Christian lifters, Connery's strongest outfit. Teamwork required, Mike encouraged. New and vet players invited. We coach leaders.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of iterations of our tagline and the recruitment, as well as the full-on 1,000 character text that you get to do. And I've worked in marketing and SEO stuff before, so like I'm used to testing copy and running through a bunch of different slight changes, and this one has worked pretty well. I went from a fully PlanetSide only related recruitment to a recruitment that spends 2/3 of its characters talking about our culture in last probably around New Year's of 22, and since then our recruitment has gone way up. It's actually very interesting. Because
and
I think
that happened after you did SOE improvements.
SEO, search engine optimization. I just decided to go from talking about, before I was like, oh, we like to build bases, we're good at tanks, and I still have a little bit of that, but I use most of the space now on talking about our sort of ethos and what we stand for. And what I found that
The
is that
emotional
recruitment
appeal.
went up by a factor of like 3 or something almost immediately overnight, and it's sustained. As you've seen, we've gained 100 members in a month, and I literally have played like twice. It works. I think it's because there's a large unserved market of I would say, I don't even want to say conservative, because I don't even consider myself politically conservative in the sort of Donald Trump Republican sense, but like
Same.
just like non-leftist gamers who, or I would just say, or even apolitical gamers who just kind of want a more sigma masculine area to hang out and do their gaming. And by coincidence, those
Alright.
people are pretty good at gaming a lot of the time. Not all of them, of course, but like the Go Hard Gaming outfit leader, the Holy Yeet Man, was asking me, where do you get these good players? You have a bunch of good players. Some of them play in his outfit on the VS when he's on, and he's like, because we don't have any like recruitment standards, like anybody can join at any BR, whereas he like makes people fill out a Google Doc. He has like a Google form sheet, and then he'll like email you to tell you if you get in. It's like really hard to get in. And I'm like, bro, it's just because I told him this is because only nerds want to subserviently fill out a Google Doc application, whereas Chads are all just laissez-faire free market type interaction.
I
just,
ain't doing this.
We go a Google Doc, and we no way, and then we amble into the club, and we just slap everybody, and we like dap them up, and we're like, what's up, and then just some of those guys happen to be just high performance individuals, so you never know.
They just want to play. That's it.
Yeah, I just want to play the game, dude. Yeah.
And when you say Sigma, you're talking about like the independent kind of.
So you'll notice that I use a lot of words very ironically. I don't actually say Sigma.
We'll get to that.
Okay, but no. So when I say Sigma, I just mean like how would you guys define Sigma? This is why I bring them on to help.
I don't know, like I was saying, like there's like an independent mindset.
Yeah.
Like conversation.
Yeah,
I don't know, there's no like controversies.
Like a cowboy.
You can bark at somebody too. You can be like clear comms, like shut up, or like there's just like something about the aura, like where people don't get upset.
People with low trait neuroticism. Would you guys agree with me if you know what that is? Low trait neuroticism.
Explain that. Now you have to explain that one because I don't know.
So there's a big 5 personality traits, and there's so let me see if I can remember them all. There's trait neuroticism, which is your sensitivity to negative emotion, and how readily you will become upset, pretty much.
Yeah, like a threshold doesn't break.
There's extroversion. There is openness, which is your openness to new ideas. There is conscientiousness, which is like organization, and then what's the other one?
There is openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism.
Yeah, so Western tactical players tend to be quite low in trait neuroticism because the people that are higher don't last very long because like we're not like mean to anybody, as we'll talk about, but you know sometimes we'll be playing and like some guy's talking and I'll be like, hey bro, don't talk over me when I'm doing orders, okay? And then just kind of curt. And once a guy left the outfit because I said something like that to him, and I'm like, okay, well that's just a washout, we just can't. You got to be willing to just sort of roll with things and not have things
like you can have
offensive
random conversations or ask questions, and we'll like talk to new players all the time.
But
I
love new players.
If there's like 2 minutes on the clock and you can't understand we're like about to push in the building and everyone's going go go go, or like orders are being given and you're like saying something, and you get like if you get mad at that. Or like for someone telling you to be quiet.
Gotcha. That's the resilient, confident thing I'm saying.
Yeah, like there's a lot of resilience in
we also
social
we're very setting, I would say Outrider and I have talked about this, how we're probably the most loss tolerant outfit that there is in terms of our emotional, which I mean some outfits, if they're losing, they'll get like genuinely sad. Like I once sort of not yell, like sort of jokingly chided another NC outfit leader over leader chat, and he got all mad at me for weeks afterwards because I was like, bro, why do you sound like you're about to burst into tears? Like we can still win this alert. Let's just get on the point and win. And like, or even if we lose, who cares?
The last 10 minutes of alert can make all the difference.
It's only
sometimes.
game.
That's all you need.
It's only game.
It's only game. Why you have to be
Everyone knows the first hour of an alert doesn't matter.
There's gonna be like 500 other alerts.
The way that we play PlanetSide is like beyond the alert or beyond even the ops session. We just know that out of everyone in the game, they will all wash away and we'll just still be standing. And that's happened like dozens of times where outfits that have been opposed to us have just disappeared and we're still here because we just never ever give up. And that's kind of our whole thing is tenacity.
It's not kind of how you learn in this game too. I mean, I get measuring KD as like a level of like seeing how good you're doing, and it is. But in this game, you're gonna die so many times the most retarded shit, even if you think you're like the smartest person. Like,
are you familiar with game theory, Lanzer?
Keep going to practice stuff. If you're getting into
I think I've probably been memed for saying this in the past, but it's true. So there's in game theory, there's the concept of an infinite game and a finite game. People are used to the finite game, which has set rules and then a time limit and a winner at the end. Like basketball or Counter-Strike, or even you could say a base fight in PlanetSide, it would be a finite game, whereas an infinite game is like the Cold War or like a large company like Apple. There's no win condition. You can't win, but you can lose in an infinite game. So like the Soviet Union lost the infinite game in the Cold War because they could no longer continue to compete. Businesses go bankrupt when they lose the ability to compete. So in PlanetSide, you can't win, but other people can lose, and if everybody else loses, you just keep going. So that's happened to, like, I mean, I don't want to name outfits because I like a lot of these people, but there's been many, other armor outfits and entities that have like come up against us on Tank Tuesdays, and one after the other, they just go away because they give up and they're gone now. So
I think at one point we were down to like, it was like just you and me, like
we had nobody to fight. Oh yeah. There was a period
like
of time, before we had Discord, where Western Tac was down to me, Gunnar, and sometimes my brother. But we just reformed from the ashes, indefatigable.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then yeah.
But when I pulled this back in December, the best heavy assault was Gunnar. Props.
Yeah. Chad.
Engineer was Crystal.
Beast.
Infill somehow was Gunnar again.
Based.
Light assault is Quietville. Your best medic was Prestige, and your best max Jug.
Oh wow.
Jug, what have you been doing, Jug?
Sometimes that lineup is people that I don't recognize because like Chinese hackers join the outfit and I don't notice. But like but I know all those guys.
Yeah.
But now it's
Prestige is absurdly
your heavy
good.
assault. Prestige is your
he's
engineer.
really good.
Brandon is your infill. Trainee is your light assault. GGPG is your medic, and Schwerpanzer is your max.
Maybe I have a good max because I like a good battle awareness. That's why I had the problem solver rank for
It's
a
just
while
like a
before I got
30-day
leader.
thing, yeah. It's
But
actually
like, if I ever pull a max, it's because I like saw a situation where it's just like you have to max there.
Quietville's been in this outfit since like he's the longest serving
older than
member
me.
besides me. Yeah, so he's been in here since like early 2013, and he's only talked on the mic one time. He's truly quiet. No, we didn't. He just doesn't own a mic. He was like, at his friend's house or his girlfriend's house one time, and he was talking like very earnestly and openly, and I was just like, "Oh, it's cool to hear your voice." He's like, "Yeah," and then he's just like, "I just don't have a mic," and I'm like, "Can you get one?" He's like, "Nah," and then he just goes and he's never talked again. And I'm like, "Okay," but he'll text you, he'll text message you. Same with Tactical Tactics. Tac has only talked like once or twice.
It's funny. He's just true to the character. That's why he's named Quietville.
Yeah, he just texts you.
Okay, so talk to me about WTAC. What would you describe WTAC is before we get into what the description tells us in game?
WTAC is a cult of personality based around a couple of psychos that you currently have in this chat. That's pretty much it.
I think a center part when it comes to PlanetSide itself is we do have a very regular weekly ops scheduled. Like every Friday, Saturday is ops night. And then we have the Tanker Tuesdays, which is a very regular pinned thing for like the last 4 years.
Big fan, by the way.
Whether it's MoneyPants himself, Outrider himself, and I'll say me actually for a long while, and then quite a few other people like Sofa King and other kind of just like cool, chill dudes that have a microphone and they'll usually accept leader. Like I'll throw out to Sofa King.
He's cool.
But I mean, Yo Mama and a bunch of other people in the past who are all about the recruitment. I hope he's doing well.
Yo Mama killed it.
Yo Mama.
Actually, I'm going to shoot him a DM right now.
Yeah, we should. Yo Mama's awesome.
No, do that right now.
And Duck.
Duck is awesome. I'll send him a DM.
How you describe WTAC?
Gaming.
We're just like really open. We're willing to teach new leaders and everything. It's just it's if you have the willingness, like if you're here and you're like, I want lead, I'll try, I'll do it. And then you can accept criticism and everything, like then you're literally like you're in. Like that's all it takes.
Our success is built
like self-serving
off of being a meritocracy of opportunism, which is like essentially I just made that up, but like it means like you just do things, like, and then you get recognized for it. So people are always like, oh, I want to start getting into leading. What should I do? And I'm like, just start leading. And the people that are successful are the people that just do things. And you'll log in one day and there's some guy you've never seen before leading a platoon, and he's a BR-24, and then I really aggressively sort of like bring those people into the fold, and because I feel like you can't teach initiative. People just have it or they don't. Like to a degree you can encourage it and you can make things open and sort of welcoming and comforting for people, but people either just have initiative or they don't most of the time. And so if some guy's just doing it, you go, hey bro, like I'm loving how you're leading, here's a link to the Discord. You can be a little bit more part of our community. Because a lot of people start without even knowing anything. They just don't even have the Discord. And, here's the thing, if you want to do a training, we can. If you don't want to, that's fine, and then some of those people take it and run with it and they become legends, and some people don't, and that's fine. They can do a little bit. And, but yeah, all the people that have been really successful have just basically done it themselves. And I sort of give them a little guidance along the way. Like Yo Mama Pro and TJ were responsible for, like, we recruited something like 1,000 people, or maybe like 500, I don't know, a lot over the last year. And they were responsible for like probably 80% of that between them. And TJ was actually kicked out of the wild cards. And he came to us because he kept putting Jesus is coming back soon as his recruitment in text in game, and they didn't like it apparently. And so they pushed him into our arms, and we took him, and he recruited like 300 people for us. So good for us.
And I'll say in relation to PlanetSide with this too is like when someone has an initiative and they're already a leader, a lot of as is known in the community and with the devs is like the the new player experience, etc. is not the greatest, or hasn't been, and a lot of the player retention and a lot of that like niche knowledge of all the little things you can do in the game that's not taught to you, as long as someone else has initiative, those are the kinds of people you can teach that stuff to and kind of like hand that off. And within like a month or two of
first
trying,
of all, capitalize the C in Christian. Second of all, the answer to that is no. I just saw you typing that.
You did?
No, Yo Mama Pro is our most prolific leader for most of 22, and he is a non-religious individual, and Jebel is one of our smartest players, and he's a former Muslim atheist. Tactical Tactics is a pagan nihilist or something. I don't know what's up with him. But no, certainly there's no requirement of beliefs to join the outfit, only that, like we've said, you have a low enough trait neuroticism that you can have conversations with people of all kinds, and so don't get butthurt too easily.
So you're not the New Age Bink.
No, although we're friends with them, and I've met Flatfish in real life, and he brought me a ton of flatfish that he
caught.
He brought me like a ton of flatfish. Yeah, he catches them. He's a fisherman. That's where he gets his name.
Like halibut or
flounder.
something?
Like a flounder.
Yeah.
Flounder.
All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
what a character, what a guy.
Yeah,
Great.
dude, he's super
Loves his
funny.
cooking.
Yeah, so I met him and a few other
He's a
guys,
king.
and then my girlfriend cooked the fish, and it was like legit one of the best foods that I've ever eaten. And Flatfish is a super nice guy. I like him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not all Christians. You're not the New Age Bink. You're just players.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
Just on
disagreements even
meritocracy and
amongst
opportunity.
like some of the Christians in the Discord itself. Like, so
So
Yeah,
this is
there's
going
a
to
lot
get
of-
a
So how
little.
does that go with the description actually in game? Money. And,
This is
and
going to be a
everyone
little
else?
bit esoteric here, but I'm somewhat, and Gunnar will recognize this, but I'm somewhat of a Sternerite in my approach to groups. In that, Gunnar's saying shh already, but what I mean is that like groups
just
don't
funny.
exist, and abstracts like what are we? What do we? They don't exist. All we are is a bunch of gamers, and that's what every gaming clan is. We can put a title on it. But just an association of nodes into a network, so to
Yeah,
speak.
we're all
And,
individuals.
right. So a lot of those nodes are somewhat conservative Christian, although certainly not all. I would probably guess like maybe 60% of the outfit is religious. I don't even know.
I
Like,
just
of the
feel
people
like-
that I
Maybe we
talk
should do
to.
a poll.
I just
Yeah.
like the conversations that can happen between people because of the
demographics.
tenacity. Like, if they do get out of hand, we still moderate everything. Like,
Yeah,
We don't
Propane
tolerate certain
legitimately
stuff.
thinks the Earth is flat and that like Mother Gaia spirit world is real, and like
yeah, like I disagree with Propane on like several fronts, and he'll talk
Yeah.
about that stuff all the time. And I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I won't argue with him. I'll tell you.
But he's a
like,
good
okay,
leader.
Like
That's
yeah,
all
he's,
that matters.
he logs in and he leads platoons, and that's
Yeah,
you know,
he's
He's a
a
good
nice
leader.
guy.
That's all that matters. And he's
Also
a
nice.
nice dude too.
and he's nice, and we have argued, but the thing is he can hang with argument. And I told him one time, I'm like, bro, like I just want to tell you that everything you're saying is very silly and you've kind of been brainwashed online. And he goes, okay man, I know that's what you're gonna think, but I believe it. And I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm not gonna argue with this. Like
I love
Okay.
Propane.
but he doesn't get mad, he gets a little like agitated, but he doesn't like leave and start
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hate me. Yeah, he's just a guy, he's a silly guy, and I like him.
Low neuroticism.
Yeah,
I like the
doesn't care.
discussions that come from
Got it.
that though, because you have to be able to compare and contrast
Yeah.
things to understand life, to make sure like double check either your view or something else. Like maybe there's something you miss and you're not looking at something. Like there's definitely stuff like propane that'll say that you're just like, oh, absolutely not. Like
I like to deliberately incorporate people into my circles that are very opposed to me, so that I can subject my beliefs to more devil's advocate and sort of temper and sharpen them. Like, for example, I wanted to get Jebel in here because Jebel's non-religious, but he's very, very smart. He was a Shia Muslim for many years, and he knows a lot about the philosophy of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and he sometimes comes to our gamer Bible studies, and he always has some of the smartest stuff to say, because he's just he's got some stuff IRL right now. He that's why he couldn't come, so he's busy. But yeah, no, I wanted, just to sort of show that I like to bring in people that are they don't have the same beliefs, but we can still have these long conversations that are pretty productive. Mm-hmm.
So what's I'm personally. What's with these sentences where the first one is Christian lifters? Is that like a meme, or is there something?
Well,
to that?
let's say this. Let's see this. Remember that I'm a marketer at heart, okay? And I'm also somebody who believes strongly in subtext and sort of psyops. When I'm creating my recruitment, and I put that as the first thing in all caps, the only people who are going to join this group are either people who are Christian lifters or are okay with hanging out with a bunch of Christian lifters, and those people are all going to be based, no matter what.
And I'll say, like, as far as my belief in Christ and coming in at WTAC, that wasn't mentioned before. And just in my personal discussions with Money over the years and the forming of the Bible study, like, I'm happy that there is like a little corner for that to exist, because like a lot of people can't even have those discussions. And as someone who's like really interested in the history of it, like I won't go into it, but like I'm a preterist, so my view kind of differs widely from a lot of modern Christianity.
Yeah,
and so
we argue about this sometimes too.
But we're still like, a Christian's a Christian if you are saved by Christ and the truth. So like, you can have all sorts of discussions with people.
Yeah, we have Orthodox guys
that'll
dunk on us and tell us we're stupid. Yeah.
So wait,
without people getting mad.
There seems to be kind of a contradiction, but tell me what I'm missing here. When you said
your question, go ahead.
Money. When you said that Christian lifters, right? You put that there for marketing effect. How is it then that you end up with Shia Muslim?
Because he's based. That's what I just told you. That outfit text is a filter for basedness. And if you're going to join a group, first of all, I think Jebel probably joined via invite from a platoon before that was the text. He's been here for some time now.
Okay.
But we just in general, I mean, like Yo Mama Pro joined, well, that was the text, and he's an atheist. And because if you're going to join something like that, you're going to be based or okay with basedness.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say based? What does that mean?
Okay, so now I get to delve into
I think that will relate to the tenacity type personality we've kind of touched on before.
So
like
allow me to explain the term based.
Someone's able to be rooted in the truth or able to like search for it.
This is a MnemonicGiraffe meme moment. I want to explain the term based live on stream. So based refers to, so it originated in the term base, which is a street slang for drug, particularly cocaine, in like the 80s and 90s. We see in the, so let me go through the chain here.
All right,
it's a logic chain. Yeah, so then there's a Stunna Man song from about 2004 where he says, "My trunk Escobar, so much bass. My trunk so loud, you can hear me in space," referring to Pablo Escobar, the drug trafficker, but of course making the pun on the word bass, like bass music. However, it really got its form from Lil B, quote unquote, the based god, who's a Twitter rapper who made the song Swag Like Ohio recently. Back then he was known for the song Wonton Soup, and he would use that constantly in his Twitter comedy, saying that this and that is bass. And what he meant to it to mean was sort of true to yourself, something that is unapologetically true to yourself. Yeah, no worries. You've heard this before. And then around 2016, it was sort of co-opted by the Pepe people, the Trump Pepe people.
The frog people?
It sort of means, it still sort of means true to yourself, but in a way that I would equate it to the Greek word arete. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've only read it. Let me look it up. It could just be arit or arete. But it means, arete is a concept in ancient Greek thought that in its most basic sense refers excellence of any kind. This ... goes to Wikipedia. but it's a full realization of potential or inherent function. So it's something that does what it's supposed to do, is what this means. So that's what based means. Yeah, sort of without fear or being apologetic. So if somebody says, you know, I refuse to drink anything that has seed oil in it, Gunnar would say that. That would be based, because seed oil is evil, and you're making small sacrifices, and, you know, having to read all the nutrition labels in order to be more healthy, and that's a based thing to do.
So is that the same thing as if I just said word?
No, it's developed a little bit more of a philosophical, quasi-political context of meaning something that's sort of in opposition to the Antichrist, or in opposition to the decadence of industrial society, is now sort of what based means.
Okay, so explain to me, wrap it up in a sentence. What is based?
If you were like totally atheist, for example, and you didn't want to view it through that kind of lens of like against industrial society or the Antichrist, like something very true to nature and yourself, like something where you're not only able to search and take your time to search for the truth through conversation, but take your time to like sift through information enough to be as healthy as possible and operate at the optimal like peak. Like, for example, lifters, like when he says based Christian lifters, like surely people who take the time, not everyone, because some people do it wrong, but surely people lifting and getting into that are people that would already be taking the time to do something like that, which is my
really long sentence.
Sorry.
I would say I would sum it up as undistorted. That's what it means.
Just true to yourself.
Like reality, like you're spitting out reality, truth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. To me, that's what word means. Like you say, hey man, blah blah blah. But word.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
But there's sort of a more,
like
there's
more of a
you kind of have to have a lot of background knowledge for base. Like you have to know about like a lot of weird esoteric theories to really get it.
A lot of esoteric history. Relating
you have to know,
like the mystery religions.
You kind of, to know what based is, you kind of have to have an understanding that the current state of Western society is one that is distorted by technology and sin, and then one who rejects that is based.
Oh. Yeah. I got you. Kind of like keeping the bigger picture in mind, know what it's really all about.
Your natural humanity.
All right. I got you.
Your inherent moral virtue in
kind of like how we were talking about personalities matter. Like I was saying, people matter, and that's why I joined WTAC. Is in real life, like your immediate family, the people you are either working with or like you live with or whatever, all that matter. You're the microcosm. Your nuclear family typically would be like what would matter. Like so even if society sucks, you know, your culture starts from the ground up, and you can be like the change. You know,
you all talk about how the low neuroticism, right? People can hang, but you seem really focused on Christianity. Like there seems to be a pretty solid foundation there. How do those two come together?
What was the first part? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Well, the first part is you're talking about low neuroticism, like the Shia Muslim, for instance.
Well, he's not practicing.
He's not practicing, so
he's not anymore now.
Formerly Shia Muslim?
Formerly, yeah.
Okay. But people who come from all different walks of life, but the main thing is that they can hang. Now juxtapose that against what I'm hearing is a pretty prevalent view of Christianity.
So I understand I understand like everyone has their own individual view, but a lot of how we're viewing this, at least speaking for myself, is I am a Christian who believes in Christ, but I believe so even though I know it's a religion to you, but to me it's like the truth about like our history and the world we live in and
that's
who we
what
are.
I was going to say.
And I can like just be like a lot of that's about forgiveness to begin with, and so I understand everyone like starts in different positions and has different points of view. So it's not like I'm gonna hold that against somebody. Like I can still work with you. I can still tell you that there's a guy on A point. You know, like when we're getting down the business, like we cut these conversations off. Like when it's time to play PlanetSide.
We're here to game.
You know,
like you can be in Western Tactical for like a year and not really hear anything.
Yeah, you don't have to talk about this at all when
if you don't want to, because most of the time.
But it is
really
like,
come up in
the Bible study is not like forced upon you. It's just
even
something
that's
there for you.
Show up that much.
Yeah, it's like a thing where like I'll run my hot ops where I think of it as hot, where we're running hot, we're warmed up and we're blasting through everything. And for that, I don't have time to talk about anything. I might like drop a weird quip about like Ted Kaczynski like very briefly, and nobody will. If you don't get it, you just won't get it. But if you do get it, you'll kind of go, huh? But when we're, I'll run for 4 or 5 hours without bringing up anything even remotely philosophical, and then usually when it comes up is either in smaller scale private conversations or like the sort of dreaded legendary Western Tactical after hours, where like then when we're all just hanging out and just chatting,
or just
Yeah,
chilling.
it can devolve.
That's usually when the conversations get interesting. But questions, two things. We sort of reject the idea of subjectivism, and we believe that our beliefs are objective morality and objective truth as ordained by God. So it would be dishonest and therefore not base, because remember, being base is being true to yourself, to be sort of wishy-washy on those things. And then second of all,
it means we're not exclusionary,
right, remember, second of all, we want
morality...
to deliberately expose people to our beliefs so that they can potentially adopt them through osmosis, which actually happens a lot. There's a guy in Discord just the other day that he said he gave up pornography and started going to church just literally because of our gaming group. And I'm like, dude, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. So yeah,
and a lot of that's being true to yourself. Like, I'm honest about, like, I'm not perfect. There's all sorts of negative things you could list about me if you were
all
profiling.
Have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It's a big one.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to look at yourself introspectively, whether it comes to PlanetSide, leadership, or real life.
Also, just as a sort of aside, the people that I have the biggest arguments with and the people that have been banned the most from my Discord are other Christians who are it was specifically one guy, and I'm like really good friends with him, but he just won't shut up sometimes, and I had to suspend him from the Discord.
I know who you're talking about.
And I made a containment channel just for him and like 2 other people so they can have their long-winded conversations there. But it's like sort of doctrinal disputes on orthodoxy versus Protestantism and stuff. And
what, it just became too much of a distraction to the outfit, or what happened?
I try to sort of create a culture of where everybody can talk, and sometimes they'll kind of just jump on people a little bit too hard, and I don't want people to feel like if they talk, they're going to get jumped on.
It did kind of blow up a lot of channels.
We let things go for a while before it's even nabbed. Like, if you had seen the conversation, it already had.
Like sometimes I'll come home from work. I don't actually go on Discord. I don't go on Discord that much. I'll come home.
I was part of it for a while.
Yeah, I'll come home from work and there's just like 90 paragraph conversation about things, and it's like in the infantry chat channel too, and I'll be like, God, go to your containment channel. Go to your containment channel right now.
Okay.
So the reason I bring this up is
you are who you are, and being in leadership positions, that's going to permeate. However, it doesn't seem like a downward projection sort of thing, despite the fact that in your description it's more of like you said, the sigma of
no, because you cannot
are who you are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you.
Jughead and I talk a lot about the concept of what the term that I got from Jughead is called empire Christianity, which I think a lot of people have the idea of Christianity as being conquistadors forcibly converting people, but
it used to be called Christendom.
Right. If you read the text of the Bible, you can only repent in your own heart. You cannot make anyone believe anything. You can make, like in Islam, like, sometimes they'll make people convert by the sword. I mean, Christians have done this too. It's not exclusive to Islam.
Yeah, the Holy Crusades.
But in Islam, that is a legitimate conversion. I forget the name of it, it's Arabic.
To keep this concise, but to add, like Christ even talks about legitimate. Like he tells the woman at the well that there will come a time when you don't worship on the mountaintop or in the temple. Christ sacrificed himself and ended the like stick waving, like, if you ever play Age of Empires 2 with the priests that go whoa lo lo with the stick and convert people.
Whoa lo lo.
So like that's why I'm averted to things like even Catholicism and stuff as a believer in Christ. I'll say non-denominational, I guess.
You can only voluntarily accept Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
So like Jabal, for example, he's like one of the greatest partners in a harasser or like a halberd. There's a lot of other people that could rival, but like, it doesn't matter if he was a Muslim or ex-Muslim or whatever. Mm-hmm. We're working together. We're playing. Like, A lot
Tell
of
me about the
people,
second one, then.
see Christianity and think of that trope or meme, and they're like, you're like exactly like this weird.
Yeah. Tell me about the second one, the most powerful outfit.
Oh,
marketing
just
stuff?
objectively speaking, no, that's like a true fact. Like if we have everybody online, I mean like week to week. So like obviously, you know, during Alpha Wars, if Recursion call back every single good player they've ever had over. Pure size, if you measure outfits by the percentage of online server population during prime time, which I think is the best way to measure an outfit, because overall number of people in the outfit can be like thousands, but there's not actually anybody who logs in, right? You know, like AXIG is like 6,000 people, but most of them are inactive. But if you take it as during prime time, which is like ops nights, for that server, who has the highest percentage of the online population of the server? We're like third in the whole game, behind like HHCN on the Asian server, and then one of the European outfits, I think like the Boys or something is bigger. But we're at
Higher than AODR?
Sokar's Legion, we're not as big, but yeah, higher than if you were to take us last fall when we were really big and port us onto any other server, we would have been like the second biggest outfit, even on Emerald, and we're on Connery, which is a much smaller, which is like half
KOTV, the whole nine.
Yeah, like we could have like 60 people logged in at once on a server that has half as many people. As
We've had
other
great turnout, like like the Tank Tuesdays, like 2020 through 2022, like they were popping, dude. We had.
I also think.
We had
Actually, I wrote this
we
down
had,
months ago to say
2 extra
Sorry, go ahead,
squads. I'm gonna say we had like a platoon and a half some nights. Where it was just like an overflow squad, and they would either like join the convoy or like go to a different position. Just to
So I also believe
some of them. I was only winter for you guys. It would be.
Oh, yeah,
That's the only times that the time zones really lined up. Otherwise, I'll be starting Tank Tuesday at like 10 p.m. and I'll be like 2 squads the whole night.
Yeah, I think we also probably have the biggest number of people that have been herded onto Jaeger server by a single person, where we got like 60 on there. I'm sure some people have done some bigger ones for server smash and events like that, but not counting like events, counting events done by other people. I don't know about anybody ever just doing that for a one-off thing. And then also, while I'm taking credit for sizable achievements, I want to say that I'm almost single-handedly responsible for PlanetSide 2's best, most effective ever advertising campaign, where me and Archie went through just every Discord that I could find, and then I posted some posts on Reddit, and we got everyone to change their Steam ratings, update them, and that was right at the beginning of COVID. So we pushed PlanetSide to the front page. We pushed PlanetSide to the front page.
I was one of the ones who changed it.
Yep, and it was top of the MMO rankings, and PlanetSide increased like massively partially because they launched afterwards too. That was big, but like
that's based.
We caught that wave, so I did that for free. Because I'm a Janny.
Okay. So in terms of effectiveness, I see what you're coming from. What about improve
if you improve yourself? Okay. So I've done a lot of self-improvement, and I continue to do that both spiritually, mentally, and physically. For example, I kind of differentiate.
Gotta get
Yeah, that
paid.
too. Get that Bitcoin. But I kind of differentiate between old and new Western Tactical, and Gunner and Outrider are around for old Dub Tac, but Jughead was not, which was like we kind of would be based in a team speak that wasn't even ours. We would like mooch off of other people's team speak.
Yeah.
We didn't have any persistent platform, and we were just kind of mean. Like I especially was like a troll, and I would just kind of do everything for attention. Yeah, we were all kind of bad. We were younger. We're like 20 years old.
Wait,
and
what
like,
years was this?
Like 2012 to I want to say 14 was probably when we were like,
I think it would be about 24.
Back when the game was young.
Yeah. When we were like bad, like genuinely bad dudes. Like we would be mean to people for really no reason other than just getting attention, and you know,
Bad
just the classic
enough
sort
dudes.
of troll mindset. But we were still nice to like. I've always had an attitude that you should be nice to the innocent or like the helpless. So if there was like a kid on, we would be super nice to them. We'd let them run the platoon and stuff. But it was like people that would kind of come against us and mess with us. We would then mess with them really hard and say mean things. And when we had this one guy, I won't name him, but I think he's actually a psychopath, and like he was really good at this. And I hate to say it, but he definitely rubbed off on me, and I kind of thought he was cool and fun for a while, and then I realized like these guys kind of toxic.
I grew up.
He was
a
toxic individual.
Back in the day during high
And
school.
so we still love him, but you know he can't be around.
You know, you're the only one who still talks to him.
Yeah, no, he's good. Nice. No, he's good.
Okay, I don't trust him. you can be friends with him.
We'll be friends. We play video games still. He's all good.
That's good, man. I'm glad he's alive.
When I get to the US, I'll go visit him.
So do you have
Okay,
like a
You tell him
thing
he's a
where they
king.
must improve themselves, or more of just like that's what
No,
you do with the
It's
outfit?
just the mindset. I think that it's just a mindset for life. Like if you're gonna, so my biggest thing is that I lost a ton of weight, which made me be going from, I went from a fat troll to being confident in myself, which allowed me to go from being an atheist nihilist to a Christian, because I realized that my lack of confidence was making me narcissistic, which was making me think that I was smarter than God. I could go into that at length if I wanted to. And then two, I just stopped being as mean and aggressive because I just became more confident, and there's no need to be mean and aggressive. Instead, you can help people and make
And this is
them
back in
help.
like 2012, 14 when you were a bad guy, you said?
I don't know. I'm still kind of bad, but you know, I'm just like less bad. I'm like I'm probably like 20% bad now. Back then I was like 70. So
Who isn't bad among us?
Yeah.
You
And
know,
this was 2012, 2014. You were just trolling to troll, and then you improved yourself after that.
Yeah, you'll still see it come up sometimes if you see
Most
me
people-
razzing people in yell
Most
chat. Though
people
it's
have.
still in there.
I mean, I've been like that, like growing,
Yeah.
like in games. I mean,
It's just
Someone's
fun to,
asking
if
for it,
there's
like-
people that are super uptight and again like high trait neuroticism, and they're like, oh, I'm so mad that your outfit's taking over this base for me in a video game that doesn't matter, and you can kind of get under their skin and just start saying things to them and get them mad.
for example, like in World of Warcraft when I played it, which I did heavily for years, I was really into PvP and world PvP, and I would like macro when I would kill people, like the /spit, and then I'd put like the flag of ownership with the thumbs down in their body, and then I would like flip a bunch of toys and
That's pretty
fireworks.
funny.
And like chop. My brother had a thing that like chopped their body up. He would just like desecrate their body, and people would like.
I won't
whisper
say
you
specifically
and, like,
what we
racial-
did, but we used to
It
have
was
like.
so funny.
Do you remember orders chat? Do you remember orders chat, Lanzer?
I miss
Yeah.
orders chat.
So I'm pretty sure you know how it got taken away. I'm pretty sure we're one of the major reasons it got taken away because like we would have our entire outfit like
It was just
split
a
up like
troll chat.
split up like a paragraph of like copy pasta text and then like type it one person at a time to like fill everybody's screen with just like absurd nonsense.
Yeah, because you could only post once every 5 minutes or something.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it would
yeah, yeah.
circumvent that by
Yeah.
having a bunch of people coordinating.
Choreographed.
Oh my gosh, that was
Okay.
those were the
pretty great.
days, boys. Those were the days.
So you used to be
Spamming.
someone different, and now you are what you would consider to be an improved
Change
version.
man.
I would say that well, before you know how we talked about being based means undistorted. I think before I was distorted by my insecurities, and as I've become more mature, more Christian, and more buff, I've become less insecure, and therefore I can be my true self. Because I've always been somebody who wants to help people. I do a lot of youth sports coaching. I love interacting with kids and helping them. Even now, like in the gym, like younger dudes like just love me, and that they'll come up to me and ask me for like life advice, and I just really love helping people, but I was just insecure, and so I outward aggression so that other people couldn't aggress against me, so to speak.
I got you.
Yeah, I think Money and I are
I
similar.
think it's
in a
pretty
way.
common. I think Picard does
We're
this a
like
lot
we're
too.
both self-conscious. Like Money's probably super self-conscious of all his negative traits as I am. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
Money will lambast me like for like
Smoking
smoking weed and all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff, which are like negative long term. And I should
Gotcha.
like
We try to
but-
help each other. I
you
think
know,
if you truly
it's-
love somebody, you have to call them out on
Yeah,
bad
it's
things.
like
Been
it's like
admonished.
being true. No.
Mhm.
So that
Admonish,
So that goes
good
into
word.
the next portion of your description where you said if you love someone telling the truth, and there's like a whole
Mhm.
paragraph here. Problem solver, creative, empowered. The no outfit has better leadership. We decide alerts. Tell me about the whole gamut of that.
Yeah, so improve. Yeah, we already talked about that. Deciding alerts already said, if we're on our game rolling hot, and we'll probably win the alert or get close to it, and we have a very significant effect
have-
on that.
A lot of people
Um,
naturally will like if they're not leaders, will promote them the problem solver. Like if you say I need a Sunday here now, and the guy's already got it,
Yeah,
or he's like I've got a Sunday here or back cap or beacon.
That's
you
how
know,
we.
You become a problem solver. Like if I ask for something and you can already do it, and you're already reading the flow of battle yourself, then I can already count on you. And
Yeah.
problem solvers instantly can like get a bunch of anvil drops and use a bunch of
Mhm.
assets. Like
So we're very quick to promote people that deserve it. Although problem solver, we usually have like a trial period where I'll be like, hey bro, just so you know, I'm
Yeah.
sort of assessing you for problem solver, and if you keep it up, just so like one problem that can happen is if you promote somebody and then they just stop doing what they were doing. So we make sure that it's like part of them. So our rank system, we have rewards for both leaders and non-leaders, and the highest non-leader position is actually higher than some of the leader positions, and it's called problem solver. And it's just people that get things done, and it's just sort of that opportunistic what did I say? What did I call it? Meritocracy. So it's like if there's like tactical tactics, Jughead, even though Jughead's a leader, they're just dudes that'll be like, oh, we need a router. I'll just build a base in 2 minutes and make one. Or, oh, we need a Sunday. I've already built it in ahead of you, and I'm on the next back cap point, and before you even asked me to. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, great. So
Yeah.
they're the people that sort of facilitate the things in a non-leadership way.
and like I was a problem solver before leader, and even though I had the tactical know-how and everything, I just like rode along with Money's platoons for years, and then I could just lead a squad.
Yeah, it's sort of a creative
it's
mindset
just-
of people that don't wait for orders, and it's like Romans
Initiative.
would they would reward their legionaries for especially the centurions for going without orders if it was successful, and there are people that do that. So and
Yeah.
you don't even need a mic. You don't even need a mic. There's people that are problem solvers that don't even talk. Sometimes they'll text me something, but they'll just get stuff done. And then the best leader thing is honestly sort of an unverifiable claim that I just put on there, but like I really think that my guys are something else, and there's not a lot of people like them. And by leadership, I don't necessarily only mean PlanetSide leadership. Like if you're gonna be like, oh, your guys know how to do a triple stack double hold with a triple flashbang, and maybe not, but like in terms of their character and like their sort of like alphaness, our leaders are really, really good at leadership
and if
as
you
a
forced
skill.
us to lane smash, we could do that.
Yeah,
You just have
they're
to do it a
adaptable.
few times.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
We've done it
So what
before,
about
technically.
feeling creative and empowered to lead communities and coworkers in real life?
Oh yeah, well that's the big thing is like I kind of famously, or maybe not that famously anymore, but people have often cited me as saying that gaming is stupid, and yet I still game because I just want to make sure that we're not wasting our time here, and that the people that interact with us are getting something out of this that they can use to improve their actual life instead of their video games.
And I'll say, like, just leading like platoons on here and accomplishing and winning alerts has actually been really good practice.
Oh yeah, I mean there's
Like,
people
just
that have
for
never.
a formality of working in a group,
Yeah,
like
I've
a
had
system,
people.
like.
Mhm.
I actually just got promoted at work to store
There you go, bro.
manager.
There you go. Very good.
It's
Good
pretty
job,
sick.
bro. You deserve it. You're a real good leader.
I'm a leader.
No, there's people that have specifically joined the outfit and started leading just so they could get better at public speaking and be more confident and stuff, and it works. Like I think Yo Mama Pro might have said that he's one of the best leaders, and I forget, but there's been people that have said like, yeah, I just wanted to feel more comfortable, sort of being. So there's another trait. It's called trait disagreeableness or agreeableness, and it's agreeableness sounds like how nice you are, but it's more so how easily you'll do what other people want you to do. Versus if you're disagreeable, you're unlikely to do what other people tell you to do unless you actually want to yourself. So as a leader, you have to be somewhat disagreeable as well as low neuroticism, because people are going to kind of mouth off to you, and you got to be like, bro, shut up, let's go, let's get this thing done, and I'm going to have it my way, and that's because I'm the leader. So it's certainly a great place to learn that skill for the rest of life.
Okay. And the last
and
thing
it's
is what we
all-
began with. Oh, go ahead, Jug.
Let's say it's all not to LARP, but it's just like how things should go when you have to get something done in the moment, especially with alerts.
I really try to shield my leaders, especially new ones, by telling them all that they're sort of an extension of my authority, because a lot of people sort of like look up to me and they're like, oh, MnemonicGiraffe. It's almost like, you know, dad reaching back in the car and like to make, you know, like, don't make me get your father kind of thing. But most of the time people don't need that. But I try to encourage people to I find it's a way to get them to wield their own authority is by telling them they have yours, when in reality I'm not even online, I'm not actually there. But if they have that confidence in sort of the badge that they're wearing, then they can go forth and conquer, so to speak.
Gotcha.
And really quick, when it comes either to leadership or mechanical things in the game, I like encounter so many people who are like too scared to do it, and the only thing, like the meme with Shia LaBeouf where he's like, just do it. Like, that's literally what you have to do. You have to just do it over and over and over and over again. It takes thousands of hours to master something. So whether it's public speaking in your squad or tanking for 7,000 hours or living, you know, just do it. That's it.
If you love someone telling the truth, that's what we began with. Tell me about that.
So this is a moneyism. That's why it's in quotes, because it's something that I came up with, and I'm sure it's been said by somebody else. But what it essentially means is that I think that our society counter is going to go up here because I'm going to say the word society. I think that we live in a society, joke your face, in which I've heard it described as a maximalist harm reduction society, or I call it a society of maximal permissivity, in which that the greatest sin you can do is to tell somebody that what they're doing is not okay. And what you typically hear from people is whatever floats your boat, you know, kind of thing. Just do whatever you want. And it's considered to be a grievous offense to disagree with somebody on such grounds. And I disagree with that. And so, for example, like Jughead, very smart guy. I like him a lot. He smokes a little bit of weed, and sometimes I feel like it's affecting him cognitively. And so I'll tell him, bro, I think you'd be farther along. I think you'd be farther along in life.
So I started when I was like, let's say 19 or 20.
Yeah, I tell him stuff like, you know, I think you'd be farther along in life if you just didn't smoke as much weed. And you know, some people wouldn't like that, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, just let him do what he wants. But I don't want to let him. I love him, and I want him to be his best self, even if it takes a little bit of what did Gunnar say? Admonishment sometimes.
If you think about the butterfly effect, you could be absolutely right. I'd agree with you.
Yeah, and I really like when other people, to me, if somebody doesn't admonish me, I don't think they love me. Like my and this isn't even like a conscious thing, like subconsciously. Yeah, if somebody, exactly, yeah, the FIFA thing. If somebody doesn't admonish me enough, I genuinely don't consider that person to be a close friend. I only consider somebody to be a close friend if they thoroughly and frequently admonish me from a loving kind of perspective, because my main goal in life is to be better. And I can't do that if I have blind spots to my weaknesses and nobody is telling me, you know, like when I was really fat, people that didn't tell me I was fat, I don't consider those people to my friends. The people that said, hey bro, you're looking like you're getting pretty unhealthy, man. Those are the people that I love. And I know that they love me because they're willing to tell me the truth that was, you know, potentially offensive to me.
Gotcha. Okay. So what would you say at the end of all what we've discussed? What is WTech about?
I don't know, dude. We're just a bunch of gamers. That's what I said already.
playing PlanetSide well with our homies. I mean, the fact that I can log in and join these platoons operating at that level when even I don't have to organize them, because if people don't know, like, even though it's not hard, like leading a platoon for like 5 hours or 6 hours is like tiring in a different kind of way. Like in a tactical sense, even like sometimes
some mental work.
I like the play sessions where I'm just jamming out, flying my lib or doing something, versus like the whole tactical thing on the microphone. Like,
there have been times in the past when my sleep schedule was way unhealthier and I would be like exhausted and I couldn't really like get myself out of bed, and then it was almost like I felt like a washed up, drugged out rock star, where I'd be like, all right, we gotta, you know, Mr. Moneypants, you're on in 30 seconds, and then like you know, the curtains open up and I'm all like, I look like super bad, and I'm like, and then I like get on the mic and I'm like, oh, all right guys, it's time for platoon, and I just do the performance because we got to do the performance for the people.
I've been there a lot of times for the Devil Dogs.
I won't speak for money, but I'll just say, like, bottom line is everyone here are like real people that have jobs, or like they're in the military, they're doing something, and they all log in for ops night to like play in a coordinated manner. And we are also there to bant, but like we know when to play and when not to. and
Okay.
like this is the environment for it, and
I wanna hear,
I appreciate Money.
sorry,
like
Doug, I keep
Money, like kind of laid the bed for that setting, and he has collected all of us on the way. So all the people here, like Outrider, especially like Tank Tuesdays, everything. Like,
I want to hear Outrider and Gunner's take on what Western Tactical is, but that was really good, Jug. I appreciate that. Outrider.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
kinda.
Okay, Gunner, what is Western Tactical?
I don't know, man. It's just like my group of friends.
Yeah, we're just homies. We're just hanging out.
it's my
Hang out,
favorite. I like the
especially
late
on the
night
weekends. We win those alerts. I get a high KD and I'm happy.
Based.
And we just
I get to hang out.
I
Gunner and
yell
I
when
are like
feel
really good friends IRL. Actually, I have all these guys except for Outrider in offline group chats, and we talk like pretty much every day. And Gunner will probably be in my wedding. We've
Aw.
discussed this already.
Probably. What's
Well,
that all about?
Probably.
I mean,
maybe.
I don't.
Storming in.
I don't know how you have to match the number of groomsmen with bridesmaids. I don't know how many friends my future wife will have. But, you know, it's just,
Those some weasel words, my friend.
All right.
okay.
I'm showing up no matter what.
Outrider, you should if you wanna join us in that, just hit me with some like a number. We can add you on Signal. And anyway, Outrider, what is Western Tactical?
Yeah, probably about the same as what Gunnar said, but also Western Tactical's where I go when I'm sick of getting stomped as a solo tanker, and I just invite all in the outfit and then start putting.
That's
a
actually
platoon
why
together.
I made the Discord and grew it back from just me and Gunner, is because I would just solo tank, and then Neo Genesis had like him, a Gunner, 2 Lightnings, and a Mosquito, and they would just for like about a week they would just shoot, and I couldn't beat them because there were just too many.
Alone.
And so I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna re-recruit the whole outfit up, because we had been like really big and then we fell off, and then I just started up again and got the Discord, and that's literally here just because I was annoyed at aircraft while solo tanking.
Yeah,
You're a tank specialist. I'd probably say we're like a tank forward outfit, honestly.
Yeah, for sure,
It's
for
pretty
sure.
vehicle centric. Like, even though we talk about leading and doing platoons and alerts, like it all started just like literally driving around in a convoy, like telling jokes and talking about shit,
And even
then
though
doing
we've-
really good flanks and like movement tactics. But
Yeah, even though we've
road trips.
done more into we still do road trips. Yeah, even though we've gone more into infantry and air for like winning alerts and outfit wars, we're still tank forward, as Gunner says, and there are some bases that are more armor dominated in PlanetSide that are very famous, at least in our platoon, as Western Tactical bases. For example, Indar X famously has never been lost by Western Tactical when we're defending it. Not even one time, and I've been keeping track of this for like 5 years, because we just roll in tanks from Helio Solar and kill everything and then leave. So it works every time. Sometimes we'll deploy a bus sometimes so we can get infantry on the points and stuff. But yeah, like literally you can't take that base from us. So
Gotcha.
that's fun stuff.
It's what
like
W
if
Tech
you
is
ever
for
played,
us.
if you ever played Advanced Wars, we're like the tank specialist commander. We get like a bonus to our tank.
I've aside here, but I've always wanted to make a PlanetSide like RTS where the units are outfits, and like so you can like save up and deploy WTAC on the field, and it's like really big and expensive and takes a lot of steel to build, but then when you deploy us, we're like highly effective at like aggressive defense and destroying all the enemy spawns and stuff. That'd be a fun thing. And then you can craft a recursion operator and drop them in somewhere, and they like
That'd be cool.
that'd be fun. I think like sort of like Company of Heroes type game, but with PlanetSide outfits and their special traits.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Well, I'm gonna do.
Well,
I'm
like-
gonna hit a brief intermission. I need to take a quick bio break, and then
Don't
we'll
break.
get back at it. So
Don't
we'll first start
break.
off with, when we come back, is your monologue, and then we'll get into the controversial slide.
Oh, no.
Slide 7.
Stay tuned.
So stay
This is
tuned for an
everyone's
intermission. We'll
hanging
be
out
right back.
before.
we're back from the intermission, and now we're gonna get into the second half of the discussion, which is the controversial-isk, quote unquote. During my research, there's no shortage of controversy, let's call it, and for various reasons, different screenshots, and there's like a whole bunch of stuff. There's even a FBI file. I have no idea if that's real FBI or just fake FBI, but in any case,
Oh, it's 100% real.
Lanzer
You got an
was
FBI file?
named.
Yeah, the
Dr.
FBI are all
MnemonicGiraffe
over us, bro.
This user has been reported for controversial claims and disinformation affixed to his tag.
So before you go further, I put that there myself.
I
did
actually
you?
had that as my own
Yeah.
tag as well, and
Yeah.
like
Wait,
probably
what?
A
10
lot of
other
us
You do
people
that?
on our
Yeah.
we all did that on purpose.
Yeah.
How do you do
That's to
that?
trick people.
We just copy
you just
pasted.
you copy paste the emoji from like a text editor, and then you just put it in there.
Wait. That's a tagline?
It's like my status or whatever. I don't really
We
know.
typed it, and it's just
Yeah.
a little emote icon. the
In my
warning sign.
full one, I included the discord.com/guidelines link, which makes it look really real.
Dude, I had no idea. I thought that was real.
Yeah, no, it's fake.
That's
I
funny.
wish it
Mission
was real.
accomplished.
It's a funny
I wish it was
Anyways.
real.
So yeah, so all this began, Money, when you responded back to me after I did my StratSide with Amy, who was we were in the same alliance together. You can look at that in the previous StratSide if you're interested. But in any case, you responded back and said, "Hey, some of the things you said, I don't think were true or otherwise misrepresented." Okay, that's the road lead up to what we're talking about right now. And when I did my research, there was a ton of stuff. Not
I'm
all of
sure.
it I would say is like on the nose, what I would call like just outright racist and like stuff that I would be like, okay, yeah, I see where people are coming from, but I didn't
Mhm.
understand that you had the reputation W tag, and you did. That you did until I went into that alliance where I started hearing some of the things that people didn't like about W tag.
Right. So if I know specifically who you're referring, so first of all, Lanzer and I had a little bit of a discussion about what we should or shouldn't discuss, because in general, I don't really know who the people are who criticize me. 2, I don't think about them. 3, there's been a significant amount of outright fabricated or exaggerated things, so I don't really like addressing individual things, because then you could
Okay.
just, anybody could write anything they want, and I have to address it, and I feel like that's annoying. But 4, the people who don't like me have significant agendas to undermine me, because they were mostly in my outfit for a long time, tried to usurp my power, and then I told them no, and I asked them to leave, and then they have hated me for like 2.5 years since then over a video game. So a lot of their
Alright.
animosity comes from this silly gaming tiff.
Mhm.
But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so all that wrapped up into, we'll just talk about it. We can talk about it high level, low level, but first you said that you had something you had prepared. Here
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
I'm ready.
It's good,
okay.
but it's long. It's gonna take me like probably several minutes to read.
Hey,
That's
add
okay,
something
I have
really
my
quick.
water now.
Yeah.
And
I transitioned
I'll
from
say
wine
Money
to
and
water.
I understand why someone might not like money or something in a certain situation.
I'm a
Like,
little
I
bit
can butt
disagreeable
heads,
sometimes. Yeah.
But there's people that like become so butthurt. Like I won't even name the name, and I'm only repeating this because this just happened like the other night. But, like some guy came into the platoon, and one of our new leaders who was like, taking his first step out and doing the pitch for WTech was in the middle of it, and he came into the platoon and like said, "Oh, MnemonicPants, he's like he should hang himself." Or like
and
said
this
he
is-
should
I
kill
told this
himself.
guy, I interacted
I was like,
with this guy one
dude, shut
time,
the hell up! Like,
and I told him he was annoying, and now it's been like probably like 3 months, and he still comes in telling me that I should commit suicide, like when I'm not even online. So it's silly people mostly. Anyway,
Yeah.
so before I go into this, because
A lot
this is
of
going to be
people
my thing is pretty long and uses a lot of big words, but I want to say this.
What a funny guy.
This is a more simplified thing. Is basically there are people of every race in Western Tactical. We know what race some of them are, some of them we don't know. It's not like we ask them; it just comes up when people post pictures of themselves and stuff. And they know everything about me, and they're 100% okay with hanging out with me. 2, there's been multiple people in Western Tactical who are more comfortable coming out of the closet to me than they are within their own families. So if I was as Hitlerite as they say, I don't know if they would have done that. And we hang out, and I tell them I love them, and sometimes we're we're tight like IRL, like, you know, with some of these guys, and they'll tell, you know, we talk about our real lives and stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to say that as a disclaimer. So in general, when we find people don't like our community, they'll default to accusing us of being hateful of the group that they find themselves in, but in reality we just don't like them as a person individually, and in some cases that's almost meaner to say, so I don't always say it. But as we described the outfit just a minute ago, it's just a bunch of guys hanging out. We do have freedom of association. If we don't like you, we can't just kick you out if you're being super annoying. And like we'll talk about later, one guy we kicked out was for the reason because he was annoying. And he's, you know, he's put a bunch of extra meaning onto that.
Mistake us
he's
not
literally just annoying
with something that is part of their identity, and I feel like maybe they wear that as too much of their identity, like personally, and they get upset. And they take
just
that as
cool.
us like hating them, but we
just
don't.
Be cool and you can hang out. But if you're going to tell me I should commit suicide constantly, I'm not going to allow you to be in my platoons because we're trying to get stuff done.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay, so here's my thing. I wrote this.
This is the monologue that you prepared.
Yes, I wrote this at work on my
before
phone.
I go into any specifics, go.
This is basically what I personally believe and does not necessarily represent anybody else, but just to make it clear what I believe. All right. Although the word liberalism implies dissent from the Lockean ideals that built the modern West, the Marcusean strategy of, quote, repressive tolerance that defines the modern left is not an Enlightenment ideal, but rather a war measure. Through this core principle, the left reserves exclusive right to determine what is the correct moral structure that must be promoted and what must be repressed, not only in our own society, but globally, usually via corporate imperialism. The very phrase repressive or, quote, intolerant tolerance that all modern Hegel-descended leftists hold, even if they don't know it themselves, is a deliberate logical contradiction that is typical of the kind of sophistry employed by the high-level academics to bamboozle college-educated Dunning-Krugerites into a haughty self-delusion that leads to performative tribalism with leftism as its unifying motif. This is to say, genuinely smart, but not necessarily well-intentioned, people are very good at tricking average to above-average intelligent members of the lower bourgeoisie who think they're smart into forming personal identities based on the performative in-group virtue signaling of ideological adherence. That's the first paragraph.
Okay, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Good.
I'm glad we didn't lose you. I hear you.
Okay, we'll discuss later. To simplify even further, smart professors and corporate people have invented ideologies that appeal to the average liberal college student by making them feel smart and righteous. Those college students then form a group identity around those ideals to exercise this weaponized intolerant tolerance via the natural human proclivity for wanting to show off to one's peers, without even having to know what they're actually doing nor why they're doing it. It's a remarkably effective mind virus that turns average people into ideological soldiers, described by a certain deranged mathematician as, quote, the system's neatest trick, and serves primarily to redirect the innate revolutionary energies of a dissatisfied youth towards social changes that actually benefit the bottom line of the greater industrial consumerist system by homogenizing individuals around the globe through a mass culture of, quote, maximal permissivity and suppressing ideologies that threaten the almighty GDP. That's the second paragraph. These would-be revolutionaries, of course, know not what they do, as Christ said of the Roman soldiers carrying out his own crucifixion. They are, in their own minds, advancing utopian vision of perfect equity. The world, of course, is inherently unequal and violent due to sin nature. However, deprived of knowledge of true forgiveness and the promise of equal resurrection and justification before the only impartial judge, God, the secular revolutionary seeks to recreate heaven on earth through man-made machinations. This is inevitably doomed to fail due to man's inclination towards power-seeking, as we've seen in horrific examples of secular moralities around the world, like fascism and communism in the 20th century. Ultimately, due to this appeal to those deprived of cosmic meaning by atheism, social justice leftism is the closest thing to a universal religion industrial Western society has, and its humanist morals are fundamentally informed by, albeit an atheistic distortion of, Christian values of true tolerance. 2,000 years of cultural framework does not simply disappear entirely overnight. Okay, that's part one. Second part of two, don't worry. However, there are some fundamental differences in these ideologies, apart from the differences in specific sins, traditions, and ethical prescriptions. First is the obvious difference between a theistic and universal morality versus an atheistic and subjective worldview. The fundamental and original sin in the Bible is when Adam and Eve reject God's law and choose instead to be their own personal arbiters of what is good and evil. To quote the deceiving serpent in Genesis, "You shall be like gods with knowledge of good and evil." Yeah. And of course, Lanzer, you know that every time anyone sins, they're sort of tacitly proclaiming themselves to have more knowledge of good and evil than God, or at least choosing their own judgment over God's. This is to say, morality is not written into the laws of physics and cannot be empirically or scientifically derived. Both theists and atheists can agree on this. Therefore, it must be either be dictated, it being morality, I should have written. Therefore, morality must either be dictated by an extra-cosmic, metaphysical supreme being, that is to say, God, or instead arbitrarily derived from the subjective and changing whims of man. But the modern atheist chooses the latter, to define his own morality and to let others define their own. But wait, as previously mentioned, the leftist, with his quote intolerant tolerance, makes a de facto decision on which moralities are to be promoted and which are to be censored. Therefore, their morality cannot be called subjective. Instead, they are tacitly pronouncing themselves to be gods with knowledge of good and evil. We see now that social justice leftism actually constitutes a form of masked religion with humans as its gods, albeit a poorly defined one with constantly shifting dogma decreed by its priests and prophets, the academics, multinational corporations, and celebrities. So, the first major difference between our two ideologies is the idea of unchanging universal rules coming from God versus universal statutes coming from man's fallible judgment. More specifically, the judgment of modern Western upper-middle-class college-educated urbanites, and only in the past decade or two. Anything before that in the past 5,000 plus years of civilization is to be thrown out. This time, we've got it completely right. That's a little funny part that I added later. The second major difference between Christianity and social justice is the concept of forgiveness of sins. And I underline this in bold. This is crucial. Forgiveness represents the core element of Christianity. Anyone, no matter how fallen, no matter how many mistakes they've made, no matter how they've offended God with their fellow, no matter how they've offended God and their fellow man, can be forgiven, resurrected, and saved. All have sinned, the Bible says in the book of Romans, and fallen short of the glory of God. This is indisputably true, even in a totally secular sense. What person can say they've never told a lie to a friend or transgressed even slightly against another human? Christians believe man is made in the image of God, so a sin against your neighbor is a sin against God too. However, the Bible, understood in its entirety, offers us hope. Anyone can repent, humble themselves before Christ, and be completely made clean, without blemish, by the only man who was perfect and was horribly sacrificed in your place. As Jesus said to the crowd about to stone a prostitute to death, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Yet as he said to the unfortunate woman immediately after, go and sin no more. Forgiven she was, now called to walk in the way of her Savior with a brand new life. That grace is extended to everyone by Christianity. Social justice, in my observation, does not seem to offer forgiveness of sins. This is because it is a new version of much older religious traditions, that of the human sacrifice of the scapegoat. I won't go far into it, but basically I'm reading a book called I See Satan Fall Like Lightning by Catholic philosopher René Girard. In the book, the author compares various pagan mythologies with anthropological patterns and with the biblical story of Christ's passion, crucifixion, and resurrection. Pagan mythologies, being of this world, echo the physical realities of anthropological discoveries and mirror the fact that humans are fundamentally driven to violence by simple competition over scarce resources. Girard points out that this covetousness is described and prohibited in the latter 5 of the 10 commandments, and refers to man's desire for what others have as a mimetic rivalry that repeats through all societies. Mimetic meaning sort of repeating. Historically, humans participate in a Hobbesian war of all against all and factionalize against one another by forming warring tribal in-groups. The solution to their fury is the sacrificial murder of a scapegoat to quell the bloodlust of unresolvable covetous rivalry. We see this scapegoat in pagan mythology with figures like Oedipus, who is a foreigner, is blemished with a limp, and crucially, is guilty of great sins. Social justice sees deviance from its cultural mandates as the pagan mob saw Oedipus, blemished, unforgivable outsiders who must be ritualistically destroyed. Christ, in the Bible, is also sacrificed as a scapegoat by a mob, but deviates from the pagan scapegoat archetype by being from the same tribe as his killers, being unblemished and perfect in their own statutes, and crucially, by being not guilty of anything. Christ is the innocent scapegoat sacrifice that takes the place of the blemished sinner, that's you and me, of course, on the altar of death. We are all blemished, guilty scapegoats, yet in Christianity we are replaced on the butcher's block by the innocent lamb. Through Christ we partake in his resurrection and are freed from sin and death. Through Christ you get to be forgiven and resurrected too. Christians are commanded to forgive as they themselves were forgiven. So, in my opinion, this, in my opinion, is the second key ideological difference between Christianity and the secular social justice. With Christ, even the worst sinner can feel his transgressions washed away in the blood of Christ. Man-made moralities offer no such forgiveness because they are simply cleverly disguised proxies for the perennial desire of violently covetous and tribal humans to inflict suffering on their perceived rivals. The goal of social justice is earthly power by other names. The goal of Christianity is heavenly transcendence of worthless man-made pride via the forgiveness of us, the scapegoats, by Christ. The end.
Wow.
Also,
All right.
I actually really want to hear you guys'
All
take
right.
on this, because I
I
know
wanted
Gunnar likes
to add
all that stuff.
something really quick
Yeah.
about just Christianity and forgiveness in general, is that like every person, like he said before, there's like literally no one alive that is like worthy of Christ or being like saved. So like every person has their own proclivities, whether it's like anger management or they're a drug addict or they're doing something where it's an active thing to be a Christian. Like you have to work against yourself almost, you know.
Mhm.
Like part
Yeah.
of you has to be killed, and no one can do that perfectly all the time. So
There's
it's
a saying
like
that natural man is in opposition to God.
just to break that down for somebody who maybe didn't have that broken down before, because I mean
Mhm.
a lot of us here would get that, but
Yeah, you have to work against your sort of innate.
you know, like
Sin nature.
Christ's forgiveness, I'm assured that it's theirs, like regardless. It's not
Mhm.
an excuse to go do something, but if you're a mindful person and you're trying to conduct yourself in a certain way, especially in regards to interacting with other people.
Okay. So Jugs, we got your reaction. Outrider, what do you think of all that?
I'm cringing
It was
slightly because
long.
Outrider doesn't
And-
always really get into this side of
No, I
things.
don't really get into this.
You don't have to like talk on moralistic, ethical, or religious level, but what do you think about what the mechanics or the event that Money just gave us?
What, his old brand?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wasn't listening.
Understandable.
All right, Gunner.
I saw the whole thing. He linked the doc, and I was like, "This is so long."
Okay,
So
you're
that's
kind of
where
like,
I'm standing
yeah,
here.
got it, whatever, man, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try to live a moral life, but like, it's just a lot of words. You know?
Okay, Gunner.
I listened to most of it, but I guess the only thing I'd probably disagree with is that that morality can't be, like rationally and logically derived. But I'll also say that Christ is king.
Fair enough. Based
yeah.
enough. I know you're referring to UPB there.
Yes, UPB.
Yeah.
So Money, let's go back to you.
Mhm.
Why was it important that you just said all that?
Because I want to be clear. And even though it's a lot of words, I sometimes feel that there's a reason people write books. You know, I think that people like shorter things, but I felt that that was as short as I could make it without leaving anything out.
So what was that in addressing of or in reference to?
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I was at work. I was thinking a lot, and I just was texting myself this on my phone. It doesn't really serve a purpose other than you wanted me to come on the show and say what I believe, and that's it. That's right there.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you asked for it, and I delivered with my MnemonicGiraffe signature, long-winded
question
rant.
Asked, question answered. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
It also serves
I
as a
followed
framing
along
for
around
any further conversation. We can always refer back to the notes.
I followed about 75% of it. There were some things I was Google searching in the chat here in the top right, like Ted Kaczynski and
Did you figure out that was the deranged mathematician I referenced in the thing?
You're on a watch list now.
Yeah, the system's neatest trick. Like I was just Googling stuff as you were saying it to try and follow along.
So a thing that I like to do, part of it is a little bit of hubris, is I just like to tie in many completely different ideas into one kind of thing, and that's why I threw in like 60s
Hobbesian.
sociology,
Doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Hobbes, Ted, the Bible, just get them all in there.
I'll add that like a lot of us believe, at least here, that a lot of things are all interconnected throughout history, including the mystery religion and stuff. So when we like have these band talks or someone's in our platoon, like everything's gonna end up relating to anything. So you have to.
What I try to do is I try to find the person who has best described a certain phenomenon that I've observed, and then I sort of cite them as being the person who described this phenomenon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. So for everyone who just listened to that, I'll contextualize with before
your viewership is going up now because I did a money rant. Your viewership has gone up now that I did a rant.
Oh, because I'm at 4 now. Yeah.
So
just
clip that whole thing.
for the record, when we were setting up for this show, I was talking with Money, and just kind of telling him what it is that I like to go over. The sort of the clearing of the air and just kind of how it all went to what it is. And there was some discussion back and forth about what sort of topics and how deep I wanted to drill into things. And one of the things I told Money was, look, man, this show is just about listening, understanding. And so Money told me that there was a write-up that he prepared that he wanted to talk about, and that's what it was. So I'd have to go back and listen and Google search at least a quarter of it, I'd say. But
you can ask me now if you want. And also, if we go too far and you guys need to go and you want to just leave me and Lanzer here to hash that whole thing out, you guys can go play video games.
To leave. That's okay.
I'm not trying to dismiss you, but if you guys get bored, I don't like to keep you.
I'm basically. Anyway, I'm going to drill down into closer to what I have on the slide, which is it. Let's start off with first. What do you and what does WTAC not represent? What is all the stuff that you told me that you do? What do you not do?
So one thing, this is a big MnemonicPantsism, is that I strongly believe that if you have an ideology, it should be self-defining and shouldn't be defined by being antithetical to another ideology. So as an example of that, you have very visibly, you have on both sides of the aisle, you have Antifa on one side, then you have Republicans on the other side whose sole purpose seems to be to own the libs, right? So your people, they're defining what they believe by being the opposite of what somebody else believes, right? So what would Antifa be without fascists? What would Trump tards be without libs to own? They wouldn't have their own ideology to stand on. They'd have nothing, So they're not coherent ideologies. So I don't think that we can define ourselves by something that we're not. We can only define ourselves by something that we are.
So are you saying that you don't want to answer the question?
I just don't think that you can do that because we don't. I just said what we are. And we're not anything that's not that, you know what I mean? It's like a logic problem. It's like we are equals to this. And it's like what the principle of exclusivity, like X equals 1, X is only equal to 1 and nothing else.
Yeah, I would say if you want the answer to that question, to create a snapshot, just take some of the things we talked about, whether it was like leadership or PlanetSide, because PlanetSide's the core thing here that is why everyone's here. That's why we play,
Mhm.
whether we're tanking or leading or winning alerts.
Because
So
they're
that's
an,
the
they're
main
an
thing that
infinite
holds us
amount of
together.
they're an
And then-
infinite possible amount of ideologies. So I it's
Then-
not useful to
And
exhaustively
like
list them
skill
all.
and leadership and stuff is another thing that overlaps. And then I would say, yeah, the upper core, like there's a good set of people that are Christians, and that's how we try to like interact with people.
Mhm.
But I mean, maybe that attracts other people like that.
Okay.
But you don't have to be like. I mean, WTAC is whoever's inside WTAC. So
Mhm.
All right.
But
I
what
think
I'm
there's-
saying is like I don't define us as being anti anything. We're just
Yeah.
pro one thing, and that's all we are.
Gotcha.
'cause there's all sorts of people that are pro different things that disagree with each other. In
Mhm.
WTAC for sure.
So let's go into some of a little bit of specifics, which is when I did my cursory search on Reddit and then just asked around.
Reddit.
This is some of the stuff I got back. I got Reddit posts. One Reddit post, this evidence repository just had like dozens of screenshots of your Discord chats. And there's some things that I'll be like, okay, all right. And then other things I'm like, I wonder about that. And mainly that third one where a lot of the remarks that I saw for you that was in this thing, you talked about, weightlifting, staying healthy. You talked some things about politics, some religion, your sexuality. You want marriage, what it would be like to be married and having kids. And then you went a little bit into genetics about, like birth rates of different cultures and body types. And then you talked a lot about IQ as well. So what I would say is all right, people talking sort of stuff. There were then other discussions.
Dudes being guys.
Yeah, other discussions who weren't you, talking like some intense comments around homosexuality. There was like racial and ethnic dating comments. There was like
Who was
what
that?
I termed as hostile sexual purity. I'm talking like militant sexual purity type
Was this
comments.
Sal? Was that Sal?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. it's
Oh yeah,
Sal.
he's our
Okay.
he's an
I mean,
orthodoxy
as
guy,
I've said,
and I like
Sal's
how
been banned from this Discord more than anybody else. Not because I want to censor anybody's views, but just because he can be very, very aggressive, and that's something I've been working with him on. It's to be less aggressive, and he's actually gotten a lot better at it. I don't think he's even in Discord anymore. That's part of it. He just needs to get off the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I've said, anybody can hang out here as long as they just aren't super bad, and he didn't break the threshold enough to get permabanned, so he can say what he wants to say.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
there was some
I
stuff
disagree
that kind of
with
made
him.
me like, they started getting into statements about like molding young women into being ideal older women. It was
So,
It got
I mean,
into
it's hard to address a vague thing like that. I'm not exactly sure.
well,
I
it
didn't read
gets very
the
specific in these screenshots. I mean, like there's no disputing what was said. It's just a matter of I don't care to get into it too much. Really, what I'm doing is bringing up like a basis of I'm not making this stuff up. There are screenshots in that thing that just talk about. Anyways, then you get into some conspiracy vaccination thing, which I call conspiracy because it went a little past like, oh, the government's out to get us. It went further than that.
Well, first of all, I think you have to understand that like 90% of the time when we talk, we speak in like intentionally exaggerated memes, like to the point where most people couldn't even tell the difference. But it's like a language of this sort of group of disagreeable gamers. Is that what we So like somebody could say like I'll never get vaxxed because it'll give me like butt cancer, and then somebody else would just respond to them based, and that's like what the conversation would be. And the sort of subtext of that is, if you were to sort of translate it into academic language, the first person is saying I am somewhat suspicious at the lack of testing of this thing, and I will withhold vaccination for now out of caution. And then the other person says, okay, go for it. Sometimes we'll talk about like rhomboid Earth, we don't actually think the Earth is a rhomboid. It's just funny, but by saying it, the subtext is I don't necessarily believe the entire official narrative that the mainstream media gives me, and so I'll exaggerate that by saying the Earth is flat, and at its core, there's a bunch of gold that they're hiding from us, or so. I don't know, just make something up.
Okay, kind of show that you can.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there are people that speak more or less in that way, but there are some people who speak almost entirely in that way, to the point where like nothing they say is a genuine statement. But I don't consider it to be dishonest, because if you speak the language, you totally know what they mean.
Well, I mean, it's just like humor and banter. I mean, it happens
it's a
when
lot
I
of jokes.
landscape all day, like when we would build
You
shit.
could be like,
and
"Oh,
stuff.
I'm Serbia's strong, you know, I hate Azerbaijanis, like, or I've never met an Azerbaijani in my life, and I don't hate them at all, but like that's just this kind of thing somebody would say in such a Discord."
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess that kind of explains what I'm seeing there. It's some of them. You already mentioned one person, but there were others in that conversation in those screenshots. They seem like either they believe what they were saying, or they were just having a conversation back and forth, and whoever did this compile of this stuff just took a screenshot of it.
Well, see, the thing is, like, somebody has come into our locker room where we're having guys locker room talks, and then they've recorded it. It's never going to be flattering, you know, but like at the same time, it's like none of it is malicious in its intent, and you know, and none of it is intended for outside ears. And you might be like, oh, they're hiding it because it's bad. It's like, no, we're hiding it because it's potentially offensive. We're actually trying to be sensitive. Like when I'm talking with my guy friends, we'll you know, we can make raunchy comments, or we can say jokes that are a little bit non-PC. But if I'm around polite society, if I'm at work, if I'm like at, you know, around people I don't know, I'm not going to speak the same way. So like if you're going to come into our quote unquote house and then be mad at how we talk with our friends that we've known for years, like that's your problem. You can just not be here, you know, and like go somewhere else. You don't have to be in our area and listen to everything if it's bothersome.
So you have people from all walks of life in your Discord, people who have a more of like a Sigma mindset, which is the more independent, the more based, the more you know. You're not gonna tell me how to think, sort of thing. And
yeah, the general. If you had to sum up all Western Tactical members with one phrase, whether they're Christian, atheist, whatever, it would be, "Don't tell me what to do." We just don't want to be told what to do.
Okay.
By anybody. Yeah,
and
except
so
God.
If you follow that logic train, you get into the house, you're going to be hearing conversations that reflect that mentality.
Yeah. We don't like to be told what to do. And to the point, there's a phenomenon that I've noticed when disagreeable. So I didn't include this in my long rant because it's already long enough. But one thing that I've noticed about social justice ideology is that it adopts a total capitulation or death mentality, and that you can only fully lockstep with the ideology, or you are destroyed. And so sometimes even lesser leftists will be destroyed by even greater leftists because they aren't leftist enough. And so they leave these. You have these disagreeable sort of conservative-leaning gamers. They give them two options: either completely capitulate or be a pariah, and they choose to be a pariah. And so in so choosing, they will often then say things that they don't even believe. That's where you get a lot of offensive online racism and sexism stuff, is because gamers will just say stuff, you know, that's like people, you know, the gamer word, I'm not going to say it, because nobody who says that, or very few of them, are actually believing anything behind it. They just don't want to be told what to do. So it's an exercise of free will against what they perceive as an oppressive social force telling them what they can do or can't say. And so people just, I'm going to say it, you know, and then they say it. It's not because it's not a good thing. And I'm not saying that people should go around saying offensive things, but that's why you get 19-year-old gamers jacked up on testosterone and monster Mountain Dew, and they go off and they say things. It's just because they spend 18 hours a day being told they can't do something, and then they just want to do it. So yeah, that's just sort of, yeah. So again, I'm not defending people who are, you know, mean, but I'm just saying that that's why it happens. It doesn't mean that they actually would hurt you if they could, you know, they actually would probably be pretty nice. A lot of the time they're pretty nice.
All right. So there's two things, and I don't care to really talk about the who, what, when, where, how. I'll quote them as what I saw in one of the screenshots, and then you tell me what you're thinking when you see something like this. So one person wrote, "AC is for women and homosexuals." Talking about anyways, then the second one, another person said, "Guys,
as in air conditioning? AC is in air conditioning?
Yeah, sure. The old
Okay.
AC outfit. I think they're still around. But
No. I think that means air conditioning. I'm pretty sure they're referring to air conditioning.
no, they're referring to the outfit.
There's an outfit called AC?
Yeah, there was an outfit called AC. They were really high talent player type sort of stuff.
I'm 90% sure by that statement they're referring to air conditioning.
I've never heard of AC.
Yeah,
I've never
AC
heard of
used to
it at
be
all.
kind of like before.
No, Lanzer, you got to understand. We don't talk about PlanetSide in this PlanetSide Discord. I have no idea who that is, and if I don't know, then nobody else knows because I'm the one that knows the most about PlanetSide.
It's in there. It's in the screenshot.
Oh, okay.
I'm staring
that
at
case-
the image right now.
I thought it was about
Who
air
said that?
conditioning, and I thought it was one of those things because there's like articles where like people complain that air conditioning's too cold because it's for men with suits on or something like that. And I thought that's
AC
why
is
there was.
sexist, like the classic.
Yeah. There's articles that
You know
say
what?
AC is
There-
sexist.
there's a
so I thought
small
it was a reference to
likelihood
that.
That AC is referring to air conditioning. When I read that,
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure it is,
AC the
dude.
outfit.
No, I have no idea who that is, and I don't think
AC
anybody
should
else
be
This
does.
is
like
the
a
first I've ever heard of
contemporary
AC,
feature crew.
the outfit.
Yeah,
AC
are they on
was like
Emerald?
a contemporary of Future Crew.
Yeah, bro. Like
See,
nobody's.
I don't
nobody
even know
knows.
who
Future
Future
Crew.
Crew is.
Yeah.
Future is
Yeah.
so old.
Future
Lanzer-
Crew is one of the best, one of the
One
top
person still
outfits of
playing
all time.
Future
Lancer, you gotta understand. I know who that is. Like, I know PlanetSide history and stuff, but outside of
Me too.
me, like, almost nobody, maybe Gunnar and Outrider, know anything about like PlanetSide culture or what the other outfits are. And there's almost no way they're referring to. I don't even know who they are.
There's some core people
AC.
that were here
They're
from
probably
before
talking
me,
about
but
air conditioning.
Yeah, that sounds
Maybe.
more. That really sounds like something someone would say in jest.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds like
maybe.
it sounds like
What
air
they're
conditioning versus
like
What they're implying
homosexuals
there
would
is
be
that
something
they,
said
a
like
macho
that.
man, are too cool for air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All right,
It's
well, I
just hot all
can't
the
discount
time.
the fact
They're
that it's there. I
it's
can
a high
put
body
the
temperature.
Imgur in there, but here's the second
Okay.
one. Guys, what do you think the best race ethnicity for white men to marry, have children with is?
Oh, the answer to that is black women. So there you go.
Anyways,
Eastern
what I
African
what I
black
want to
women.
move
Dude,
to,
I
Money,
worked
is
with this really hot Nigerian girl.
Ethiopian.
when you see that in your
Somalian,
Discord,
Ethiopian.
Money, when
I
you
love-
see that sort of stuff in your Discord,
I love Ethiopian
what
women.
goes
Just for the
through
record,
your mind?
if you're
Like,
Ethiopian and you want to marry
seriously,
me, I'll fly to America
Hit
right
me
now.
up.
What seriously
I'm not
legitimately
kidding.
goes through your mind? As in, what sort of logic train goes through? I read it to I'm not going to ban. I am going to ban.
First of all, I have a job, I box, and I study. So I go on Discord for maybe 5 minutes a day, and I don't read everything that gets posted, and I have no idea what people post, and we don't have any mods. So yeah. Second of all,
Okay.
as long as you're not calling for violence against somebody or directly insulting a person, like there's a difference between making a quip and me saying, you Lanzer, you're bad because XYZ, and you should like do bad things to yourself because you're a bad person. I don't allow that at all. Anybody that ever, I don't even allow
If it
jokes
gets
about
to that,
suicide.
usually
That's
it's
one rule I have.
recorded,
I
and
don't
think
allow
it's-
jokes about suicide because it's just not funny, and I don't want anybody who's suicidal to see that and feel like demeaned or anything like that. So that's like the one joke I won't allow is like things about harming other people in a realistic way or harming yourself. Don't do that. But other than that, you're good to go. I don't really care.
Okay.
As long as it's not causing real and audience also matters. So it depends on like who's reading it and if you're gonna hurt that. I actually don't like, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, like, facts don't care about your feeling. I actually am very empathetic, and I don't like when people's feelings are hurt. So if there's somebody in the chat that is gonna get their feelings hurt badly by something, I will tell people to knock it off. But if there isn't, then they're fine to go.
How does that pair with what you told me about the earlier low neuroticism requirement?
Well, there's things that you should be offended by, and there's things that you shouldn't be. And this is going to sound a little silly, but if it's
Sure.
like, again, if it's like clearly not intended as hurtful, then it's fine. But if it's
Talking
like
about malice.
intended, yeah, if there's malice behind it, if it's like me saying to you, bro, like Lanzer, like you're only 130 pounds, like I could beat your ass in real life, and like you're pathetic. Like I'm not gonna like, I don't mean that, by the way, but even if it's true. sorry.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean?
There's a clear
going.
danger,
I
really,
wouldn't
and there's a clear
allow
discussion topic.
somebody to say that to you, even though I just said it because it's clearly a joke. But yeah, context matters. But like, I wouldn't allow somebody to target another individual with hate in an effort to make them feel bad. That's just not a cool thing to do.
So the people who believe and perceive that you've done that to them, what? Marry
Well,
those
like
two together.
in
'Cause
your
that's what I'm
thing
trying to
there,
figure out.
there's a guy who wrote 2 paragraphs on Reddit about me because I told him he was annoying. That's not
Right.
very insulting to me. I think that's within bounds of normal conversation to tell someone that they're a little annoying.
And if he had the same
Okay.
name as the guy who
And
came
he
into
tells
the
me to
platoon
kill
the other
myself,
night,
so which is worse,
that's
you
the
know?
guy who came into the
Yeah.
platoon the other night, and he said Money should kill himself, and then he told me that he believed that we thought everyone were federal agents. And I was like, dude, like you realize those are like banter jokes, right?
Those are
like,
jokes. Yeah. We don't actually
No,
think you're
dude, we
federal.
actually believe
Yes,
that.
you're a federal agent, my friend.
100%.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah. So
Dude,
like
Lanzer,
again,
you're a
that guy
federal
could-
agent.
Yeah, Lanzer's a Fed.
He's recording everything.
That guy
Oh,
he could have chosen. It's all about choices.
the
That
hell,
guy could have
man?
chosen to be cool, and he chose to be annoying, and he suffers the consequences of being annoying, which is you can no longer hang out with us, which is you shouldn't. He doesn't even want to hang out with us, so why is he mad? So like it's just
Okay.
one of those things.
All right, so let's move to the second part of the slide.
Yeah.
Some dude posted a Reddit thread, and what all I pulled out the 2 things that I cared most about. One is that there was a perception by this person and maybe others that Western Tech either endorses or it does engage in things that talk about how Black lives don't matter, homosexual lifestyles are a threat to Christian beliefs. Individual in the server was talking about how they make up such a small portion of the population and yet own all the companies. So like stereotypical statements. Where do you fall on that? Do you see what they're saying? Do you understand what they're saying, or is that more of what you're talking about? How probably taken out of context.
I think it's largely taken out of context because again, gamers say gamer things, and it's not obviously nobody in here thinks that Black lives don't matter when we have Black officers leading them in their squads and outfit wars. So I don't, same. So it's just one of those things where people are looking for a way to get upset, and they found it. So good for them. So
Okay.
they can, like, if defer back to my long rant, so they can performatively virtue signal to their in-group. That's why they want to do it, because then they get clout from their homies who say, good job, you all. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's one comment that really stuck out to me. Some dude or person responded back and said, what do you expect from racist tactical? Which kind of a clever jab. I'll give him that one. But have you heard of some of your outfit being dubbed, that sort of thing? Has that ever been
to be
crossed
honest
your
with
awareness
you,
before?
since I've joined them, there's just been like really emotional, like angry people that have always like just instantly assumed that about us because of like one thing out of context.
I hate
Like,
to say this,
I've seen
and it sounds really dismissive
come
and
and
bad,
go and-
but most of the people saying this stuff are literally mentally ill. And I don't say that as like a dismissive thing. It's just their behavior is so weird that I can only describe it as such. And that's, they think about us like all the time, and they talk about us in their discords, and I don't know who they are. And so, like, for example, I've been into other Discord servers and I like searched like Western Tactical or DrMoneyPants, and there were like 330 mentions over like years, and I didn't know who a single person was who was talking about it. And so they're operating off of second and third hand experience mostly, where somebody else has said something like that, and then they go, oh. And so again, it's a performative, it's like a performance for them, so that they have something to talk about and a scapegoat to rally against as part of their shared group culture in their group. So sort of like how we rally around memes about lifting and steroid usage, they rally around memes around how we are Hitler and they want to kill us or whatever. And that's just their sort of cultural narrative, and it's odd because we're just gamers, and we mostly don't even talk to them. Like, for example, like Picard isn't really a bad offender for this, but he's noteworthy in that, like, one time, like, I hadn't played the game for 3 months, and I logged back in, and somebody DM'd me. He's like, hey, good to see you. Picard's been ranting about you for 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, I haven't thought about Picard in like 90 days. Like, why is he doing this? So like,
Okay.
like seriously, like again, it sounds bad, but that's the only way I can describe it is like, touch grass, dude. Like, go outside. Stop it. like who cares? Obviously
Okay.
you, but yeah, it's not a healthy behavior, and it's genuinely it's just not normal. It's weird.
All
So
right,
that's
go
why I
ahead.
don't
What were
like
you
to
gonna
give it
say?
too much credibility. Yeah, go ahead.
The tire old insult to describe anyone left of center.
Yeah.
What a classic, you know.
Yeah.
So glad.
All right, what were you
That's
gonna say?
that's
The
why
old
we kind of
classic. It's like the
sorry before
SpongeBob
I go,
meme,
we
old
kind of embrace
reliable.
this as a sort of commentary humor. That's why we all have these like fake things in our descriptions about how we spread disinformation and we're bad people, because we wear it with sort of a smug pride. And I've even gone on Reddit and written some of the worst things that you'll see written about us were written by me just as a joke to see if people would buy it. And guess what they
Yeah,
do?
that's
They
true.
do
Dude,
buy it. They'll
I
buy
happened
anything.
across a Reddit thread of yours. It was like, it was called "I'm a Patriot." It was the most confusing set of paragraphs.
That I faked insanity, and people believed that. People still believe that. People will quote that to me and say that they think it's real. And it was like I wrote it as a joke. There are people
Well,
that
to
were
be
messaging
fair,
me.
no one can tell
they're
what
like-
it is. To be honest,
do
I
a
have no
little
idea what I was
trolling.
reading.
It's me simulating a mental breakdown, is what it is. And there were
It's
people
money
that,
pants trolling. That's all it is.
This is from 2 years ago. Is what
yeah,
it was.
we do a little trolling.
Money Pants gets kind of bored with the game sometimes, and he'll just like
I just want to
like
antagonize
he'll
people.
Go
like
off the
screw up
rails.
some shit just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to go hard, but if you do like 2 alerts, like Indar and Estimir or something
And then-
back to back, and it's like 2 hours of like go, get in the
There are
box,
people.
go,
There are
go,
people
go,
that I
it's
know
like,
in the
and
comments.
then
come on,
literal-
chill out.
Literal
Bait
midwits will be
unwind.
like, "Oh, this is really him. This is
Yeah.
him. He's finally cast off the mask or something
Yeah, yeah.
like
There
that."
are
What
people
is
in the
this? We're
comments
just-
who I know like well, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Money Pants, like you need to like
Like, I
get
can't
help or
believe-
something." There are people messaging me. They're like, "Bro, I hope whatever it is going on in your life that it's okay, man. Like you're gonna like don't kill yourself or don't kill other people." And I'm like, "Dude, it's like it's a joke, dude. Like
I
relax."
just tricked you. You just got
Yeah.
All
tricked.
right. All right.
And then we're all laughing like in Discord about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we kind of when people buy into this stuff and they're like, we kind of laugh about it because it is fun.
I have no reason not to believe you when you say that. I just hope you're not bullshitting me, because that sounds reasonable what you said.
We're kind of
Well,
like I guess we're kind of like the heel outfit.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, we
definitely.
kinda
We
embrace
take to
our
that heel.
heelness.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, like almost anything that you've seen said by me publicly, whether it's reposted on Reddit or I posted on Reddit or I posted on Reddit under a proxy, has almost always been what we call a psyop, which is a deliberately misleading thing.
Yeah.
But we don't
Yeah.
have any agenda for it. We're not trying to push it. We just do it because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Huh.
We're trying to have fun in the video game. Like
Yeah.
We joke
What's
about SAPs a
controversial
lot
about that?
because, like,
Yeah.
even when
Like,
it
we
comes to
took
our
over
interest in
Axig.
history,
I took over
anything.
Axig and deleted their porn channel just as a meme to see if I could like bust like do election fraud, and I did. I successfully did election fraud against Axig, and then I won.
well, porn is really bad, so we really
Porn is
increased
bad though.
the
Yeah.
quality of
Okay.
that Discord too.
Did him a solid.
So
Yeah.
good.
I concur.
That was good. I appreciate you telling me that. I had a similar
We
instance.
do a little
with Pale-
trolling.
Pale Tiger. If you ever get a chance, watch that one. He admitted that he was playing it up a bit.
Oh, playing
and-
a character? Yeah, I'm like a
Yeah.
WWE character. Outright, I
He
feel
was
like you're going to
playing
say
it up
something a
to
minute ago.
create
We
a
kinda
bad
talked
guy
over it.
to kind of like
Wait, what did you say, Money?
I think you were going to say something, and I didn't mean to
Right,
cut you off.
outright it.
But were you going to say something?
No, I wasn't gonna. I'm playing PlanetSide right now, and I was telling someone to repair my tank before I burned down.
Oh, nice.
You know, right after this, I'm gonna jump on there with a Colossus. So be ready.
Okay, cool.
All right,
I'll
I will
cool.
have
Hey,
to watch something.
I'm glad that we got to clear that up. I have no reason not to believe you. I see what you're saying, and also I'm not going to discount all the people who genuinely will feel that they hate you. That I didn't
That's
know
okay,
that it was
man.
that.
That's okay. Hey, if you're standing for something, people are going to hate you. And I will admit, I also have made some mistakes where I've been overly abrasive in the past. And, I talked about how our old Western Tactical was very trolly. So I'm not saying I'm a saint by any means. I'm very sinful. And
And nobody is.
I will
Nobody's
still
a
be,
saint.
still now, even when I'm much more chilled, I will still say things that are rude or to people when I'm angry at them. So, but the intent, of our group is never to be, hostile. It's only to lift people up, and some people just don't like to be lifted up, and they can go do their thing. And if they hate us, that's fine. I don't care.
If you can't handle
They can
Money
also fight
Pants
me
at his
IRL.
worst, You don't deserve him at his best.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, anybody who doesn't like me is an open invitation to fight me IRL if I would do a celebrity
Exhibition boxing match.
Boxing with anyone who wants to.
Hell yeah.
You just have to be a real
on, like,
PlanetSide player.
YouTube
Yeah.
boxing
You have to be
stuff.
a real verifiable PlanetSide player. You can't like hire a professional boxer on your behalf.
Okay.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Planet Con boxing match.
Again, like, that's me playing a character, but I probably actually would if somebody wanted to.
All right.
It'd be fun to watch.
I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
box you for sure.
Yeah. I would.
Well,
the thing is, I actually would
think-
probably not want to box somebody because I'd probably kill them and give them brain damage, and I don't want to do that to an innocent gamer. So
I think we ran through all the topics that came to my mind when I figured that what do we want to talk about. I appreciate you running through all that with me and talking to me about your thoughts and feelings about the things that I saw and that I came across.
yeah, we just do a little gaming, bro. It's all we are, just a few gamers.
Okay. So let's go with the closing comments. We'll start Outrider as you're getting your tank repaired.
Wait, what?
Closing
my
comments.
Closing comments for the stream.
Got blown up. No one wanted to repair my tank. I was running back to it.
All right. Gunner.
It was a fun stream.
Closing
Gotcha.
comment.
Go ahead, Gunner.
Buy Bitcoin.
Bye.
Bitcoin by Chainlink. Do it now. Don't even think
All
about
right.
it.
Still single. That's what it is.
Jug.
I was trying to think of something, but I don't. Thanks for having us.
Buy Kovacs and do some aim training like me.
Yes.
Okay.
Aim training. Prove yourself. Just do it.
All
It's
right.
not hard.
And Money.
My closing statement is: if you are an Ethiopian, Sri Lankan, or French woman in the ages between 19 and 25 who's single and Protestant Christian
French
and want to
Canadian.
have 3 or more children and live in the woods of the United States, call me. Get my number from
Yeah.
Lanzer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I must
All right,
just
well-
one more thing. I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
I love everyone. I love this game. It's a great game. I've been playing it for like 11 years now. Can't not love it.
Yeah, we have to do
And
everything.
I
we
wish
It's a
can.
good
everyone-
game.
Everyone the best. And I'll see you on the battlefield.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
See you in the battlefield.
Hell
hey,
yeah,
Money,
brother.
Outrider,
Hell
Gunner,
yeah.
Jug. I appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
brother.
Thanks for coming out and
Hey,
explaining
Jesus is King.
some of these
Jesus King,
things.
represent.
And,
Yeah, Christ is
that'll
King.
be it. We'll go ahead and end it.
No worries.
Outro.
All right,
You
peace.
have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm gonna go make a patty melt.
I'm